Que pasa mi amigo? Give me the mic and let me go. When I go, it's so lethal. Roll up on you in that old school Buick Regal. And why'd you all French though? Thought you said you and your crew ain't no bitch though. It's funny when I pull the pistol, you'll just see through like some windows. And I told you all to look out. We show up, you all booked out. And now you all shook out. Move along, bitch. Move out. Yeah, we told you all to look out. Yeah, we told you all to look out. We told you all to look out. Yeah, look out. We told you all to look out. Yeah, look out. We told you all to look out. Yeah, look out. Looky, somebody hired the rookie. Call the bookies, place your bets. What the heck? They call me skeptic. The shoe fits, so I kept it. Your propaganda wrecked it. Here's your lesson.
Sitting on my throne. You ain't real, you just fake, you a fraud. How you running me when you can't even walk? All the people know you lying when you talk. Talking shit and I'ma send you off the door. How you running me when you can't even walk? All the people know you lying when you talk. Talking shit and I'ma send you off the door. How you running me when you can't even walk? All the people know you lying when you talk. Talking shit and I'ma send you off the Lord.
I go hard in the motherfucking paint. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Atheist Network Group. This is the Atheist YouTube channel that loves theists most of the time. Most of the time. We can be cool. But what's up, everybody in the chat? Thanks for hanging out with us. What up? What up? Good to see everybody. Hope you're having a great Sunday evening or Saturday morning, depending on where you're at. But we have a lot of fun planned this evening. So we're going to save the announcements and whatnot for, excuse me, for the end of the show. That way we can get the proceedings proceeding this evening. So as you can tell by the beautiful thumbnail created by the one and only beautiful Jenna, this is the introduction of the revised version of the Unholy Trinity version for 2023. If we can please welcome Dr. Yashua Bowen and Dr. Kill. Yeah. Kip Davis in the house.
Yeah, he is.
How y'all feeling?
Good.
Yeah. I tell you, I feel 100 times better today than I did yesterday.
Doing a debate with a fever is it's no joke.
Ooh.
Both of us.
Particularly when you...
Like, what are the chances that both of us, who live like 8,000 kilometers away from each other, are sick?
Yep.
Heading into an online debate.
Yeah, one that's had to have been postponed like for 6 months or something. Yeah, it's I think it made it worse that the topic that we thought we were going to debate actually didn't really go that direction, which is fine. Yeah. It was a fun debate, but I was like, I didn't know it was going to go this direction, but
no, not our best, I don't think.
So, were either of you convinced that the Bible does not endorse slavery?
No. No.
Okay.
I'm still working my way through the meta narrative.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know if I ever get to the end of that.
We should definitely do a show about that, because I heard that more in your guys' debate with them. I mean, I'd heard it before, but I heard it more in that debate than I think I have heard in any other singular, independent debate. That was a lot of meta.
And to be fair, really like both Stephen and Jonathan, right? Really, really nice guys, and I think very intelligent guys. But in my opinion, there's sort of like an elephant in the room in that debate, and that is that the position sort of starts with its conclusion. It's like, okay, this is an inspired, inerrant text that has to work together ultimately. So how do we do that? And I think that's not the best way to go about that. So I think just sort of taking a step back and saying, okay, let's assume for a second that these are texts that are put together and edited and re-edited, by multiple individuals, groups of individuals that don't necessarily have to connect with one another and can argue with one another. Now, do we have to have some big grand narrative that connects it all? And I mean, I think the answer is no. So,
yeah, Kip brought up a great point. I'll say this: we should schedule a show that the three of us go through, because there's, even from the laypersons, and I only have to say that for a few more minutes, but as a layperson,
this is so awesome.
Going through and digging in further in some of the stuff that they bring, like, because I'd already put in my phone a couple questions, like when they're saying this, like this, and Kip brought up, like this is all hermeneutics and exegesis and nice, like you're dancing your way around this, and to try to coddle it or massage it, so to speak, into what you want. But I'd love to have that conversation another time.
I actually think that was evident through just the economy of language. You'll notice in that debate that they talked a lot. And I think the reason they talked a lot is because there are like 87 and a half steps, right?
Yeah.
To get from your conclusion back to the evidence in order to legitimate your conclusion. I saw a couple of comments in the chat there. I think some people were frustrated that Josh and I let them go on like they did, but I also think that sometimes when people talk a lot, they kind of weave their own noose.
It's if I apply that to my sales background and sales training, is asking discovery. Like, if you ask the right questions, they will talk. And then once that snowball starts to build, it's hard for them to stop talking about the thing that they love or they're passionate about. And if they're speaking with or to someone that they like or know or they trust, it's even easier, for that to happen. And I think that's kind of what we watch, because I think they, once it got started, for me anyway, as the outsider, my perspective was they they got comfortable quickly with you guys, and I think that was part of it. So,
and this last thing I'll say, I was talking to actually Kip today about this. It reminded me this morning of the story that Bart Ehrman tells all the time. And I feel ashamed that I don't remember the specifics of it, given that my wife is his host on their podcast. But he wrote a paper. Was it at Gordon Conwell? No, it was at Wheaton. He went to Wheaton.
Yep.
I can't remember who his professor was or what the program specifically was. But at any rate, he wrote this paper on a contradiction in the Gospels. And he was very proud of himself, like went extensively, wrote this really intricate explanation for how these two things actually don't contradict and it's reconcilable and all this stuff. And he handed this thing in, and if anybody's like been to seminary or something, you probably have had this feeling you've solved a problem that nobody else has solved before. Your world comes crashing down a couple days later when you get the paper back. But because you didn't. And it looks like somebody has sacrificed a goat on your paper. But he said he got his paper back, and there's just this little handwritten note on it that says, maybe the writer just got it wrong. And that's what this reminds me of, because again, if as they are convinced of their position, which again, like I'm not taking anything away from them for that, because they're going with their conviction on that, and so they have to reconcile these things. And so if they have to reconcile them, this is an elaborate way, and I think in a way an elegant way, to some extent, to do it. The problem is that in the end, what is possible is not always probable, right? And so, I just kind of wanted to write at the end of this debate, well, maybe there is no meta-narrative like this, right? Maybe they just aren't reconcilable.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
I'm agnostic to that.
Yeah.
Gosh,
This is the problem too, because and this is the last thing I'll say about it. At one point in the debate, I think Jonathan challenged us to, he asked the question, can you think of a different or a better meta-narrative? And in the moment, my mind just, I'm not a quick thinker. So, and I need time to sit down and process things. But I was thinking through some of this stuff more today, and I'm like, that completely misses the point of what a meta-narrative is. Because a meta-narrative is formed out of like all this stuff that piles on to our society and our culture. So no, I can't think of a different meta-narrative, because this is the one that exists for the Bible. And it exists for the Bible because it's been like gathering like a like a ball of thread being wound up. It's been gathering data points for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stuck in it. And that's in some respects that's a frustrating thing, because it will feel so natural to so many people to read the text this way. And that's why I feel strongly about, I'm pretty sure Josh feels the same way. That's why I feel strongly about the importance of deconstructing it. Because we don't really know it. Like, people don't know the text because they've inherited a text that has been basically molded out of the pieces for thousands of years. It comes with a hermeneutic attached to it.
Yeah.
Right. And that was my line of thinking, because even in a debate like that, it doesn't, even if you could, in that instant, think of another one that is probable or better than, that's not the debate, sir.
Yeah.
Why are you even asking that question? And to me, that's another one of those side steps, or the we're going to dance class now, and yeah, we should have a conversation around that debate, because I'm a little over halfway through actually getting. I listened to it while I was at work, but now getting.
It's a pretty short debate. I'm surprised it's taking you this
hard
long.
for people to find 3.5 hours to kill.
Well, I listened to it while I was at work, but when you're working, it's
Yeah.
so I'm about a little over halfway listening to it now, where I'm actually can listen to the whole thing, and I think it's worthy of reviewing if you guys are down for it.
And if somebody does go watch it, I swear this is the last thing I'll say about it. Just bear in mind one of an example, I think, of what Kip is sort of talking about, in the sense of we're sort of conditioned to read the text in a certain way or to see the text in a certain way, is keep in mind that things that you read in the Bible, stories like these well-worn paths that you walk through these stories, you're conditioned to think about them a certain way. And so I know I always give the example, but that tweet that I gave about a man went into a place of worship and through a suicide action killed 3,000 men and women, and then entered down twice and said his name was Samson, right? There's a jarring thing that happens in your brain, because all of a sudden, this thing that I've described that's awful and terrible, and you're conjuring up images of terrorist acts and all these things, automatically it shifts, and it's like, oh wait, but Samson, he's the good guy, he's the hero. So your brain reads it in a certain way, and this is something that it's hard to take that step back.
Yeah.
It's hard to take that step back.
Absolutely, it is. And what Kip said a few moments ago, the deconstructing it, because I think if you really deconstruct it and really force yourself to go through it and not keep reverting to the metas and the all that, you have to take it for what it is, and not interlace or interweave all the other shenanigans into it to try to prop it up. But we can talk about that another time, because we got some real fun shit to talk about tonight. We got some real fun shit, yo. So before we do this, Jenna was scouring the interwebs and looking for graphics, images, whatever, for promotional stuff for the show. And earlier today, she stumbled upon this. Oh my God. So for those that aren't familiar with old school WWF, WWE, that image is The Undertaker and his brother Kane as tag team champions, and then their manager Paul Bearer with the urn. And if you can see it, you may be able to zoom in. It actually has a few of the Christian YouTube creators that will be or already have been dismissed.
That's awesome.
So somebody's running with this whole unholy Trinity thing. So somebody fell in love with it.
I'm probably, I don't know. I'm probably just as amused. Just at the brilliance and the creativity of that. But my second thought, and the thing that I love about it, is this is now the second time that Josh's and my faces have been morphed onto professional wrestlers.
That's right. What was the other tag team?
It was the Road Warriors.
That's right, the Road Warriors.
Oh man, I'm glad I almost did that. I'm glad I didn't do that. Or he did it. The idea.
I like this one better because they've got the belts, and Paul Bearer is awesome. So,
and shout out to Pat Lowinger. He's the one he contacted earlier, and Pat was like, "Hey, here's a little idea. Here's a little idea." So when I say we, Jenna ran with it. I just suggested the particular wrestlers, and then she went with it. But no, I thought that shit
Thanks,
was
you
fun.
guys. That was sweet.
Oh, bear. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. But before we get into this, we're going to talk about briefly talk about something that happened after their debate on another channel. We won't spend a lot of time there, but we'll talk about that, and then we're going to talk about a certain platform that's hosted and co-hosted by Braxton and Mystic Pritchett. So we're going to dig into that. Before we do, I want to make sure everybody's clear, because we might have people that have never, this is the first time hanging out with Tang. So first of all, my name is Oz, and the doctor will make more sense here in a minute, I promise. And I want to be clear that anything that I say is my opinion. and it is not necessarily shared by Dr. Josh or Dr. Kill. My bad, Dr. Kill. Not shared by them. So I always want to be fair and say that when I'm talking, that they don't necessarily align with some of the shit that I may talk. So before we get into it, I want to make sure we do proper introductions. Dr. Kip Davis, if you want to let everybody know a little bit about you, what your degree or degrees are in, the floor is yours, sir.
My name is Kip Davis, and I have a PhD from the University of Manchester. It says religions and theology on it, but it's really early Judaism manuscripts and probably Second Temple Jewish literature, culture, and history. So yeah, I've held postdocs in Canada and Norway. I've taught courses in Bible and languages at universities in both Europe and in Canada. And I run a YouTube channel under my own name, where I like to talk about the Bible and talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I'm probably most familiar to people from the work that I did between 2015, 2019 or 20, thereabouts, on the Dead Sea Scroll forgeries that were at the Museum of the Bible, as well as in the Skilling collection. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for hanging out with us. Kip, appreciate it. And then Dr. Joshua Bowen, as far as Tang's concerned, I know most of the folks here are familiar, but for those that have never been here, maybe you've never met any of us, tell them a little about you and your background. Yeah,
I mean, I think I can just say not as impressive as Kip's background, and that is, I think, evident. But
I've never been invited to ASOR. So.
I've had ASOR before.
So I'm Dr. Josh. I had 26 years as an evangelical Christian. I went and got a bachelor's in religion and a master's in theology. And then I went to Johns Hopkins and got my PhD in Assyriology with a minor in Hebrew Bible. And so I do sort of, I say that I do anti-apologetic stuff, and that's true, but I mean, it's more narrow, I think, because I think apologetics today has sort of taken on it's moved a lot into philosophy. At least it seems to be going that way quite a bit. And, I definitely don't do any of that. And really, like we saw, I need to start saying this, like what happened last night in the debate, it also moves into theological, which sounds weird, that would be the case, but or that would seem surprising. But apologetics, at least earlier in my experience, did not rely so significantly on theological constructions or interpretations in order to bring these disparate things together. It was just going to the isolated passages and arguing that that's not actually what they really mean. So that's where I think Kip and I focus more is, well, that text doesn't actually say that in the Hebrew, or that, that passage doesn't actually say that in the Aramaic or whatever. So that's sort of what we do.
Hell yeah, and we's about to do it. We's about to do it. So my background, well, you know what, we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in a second. But no, I want to make sure we did a proper introduction, and again, I'll say it throughout the show because I'll probably talk more shit than a little bit. It's my opinion only, and I do know we have a couple we can do this super chat. There's one that I'm gonna wait to post, so we'll save that one. But babe, if you want to throw that one up on screen, we can have a little drink before we get into it.
Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the.
We have a super chat from Heathen Queen. What up? What up? $5. Josh, please confirm I moved Megan's arm wire up the stairs.
Yes. In fact, she did, and that thing was heavy. Yes. Wow. And the bottoms of it, they're sharp. That the wood is just the way that it was made. It was really sharp. It was unfun.
Unfun.
She did though.
Unfun.
Confirmed.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So
very, very strong.
Heathen Queen, that's been confirmed.
I would not mess with Jess.
That sounds like a show.
Yeah, it sounds like a shirt.
She's incredibly strong. Like if you've ever seen her like lift weights in any of the videos, that's like it's you'll go, damn, I wish I could lift that much weight.
And that's why I know she does online. We just probably don't hear about it online, but I'm sure there's been a dude or two at the gym got their ass whooped, thought they were. But no, so we have before we get to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit radio, we have a video from something that happened after Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip's debate last night that 100% needs to be talked about.
Yeah,
100% needs to be addressed, and I'll let Dr. Josh and especially Dr. Kip, because it's aimed at him, go first, and then I'll talk my shit. But yes, the beautiful producer, we're ready when you are. Nope, not that one. It's the one. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, so it should be in the video gallery under T Radio. Because it wouldn't let me share the actual document for whatever stupid reason. So while we wait, oh, where did my notes go? I had notes. No, I'm not going to ask that because that'll probably take us another 45 minutes of debate conversation.
What? We're not long-winded. Gosh, all the time.
No, I will point out a funny moment in the debate is when I think it was when they got to the Q&A, and someone had asked either directly asked Dr. Josh or it was open to Dr. Josh or Dr. Kip. As far as if there's a contract, does that therefore mean ownership? And listening to Josh try to come up with professional athletes' names.
Listen.
And then And then somebody says LeBron James. He was like, "Yeah, LeBron James."
And he plays for the
I hope
So-
it didn't. I hope it didn't seem like I actually knew that. I just kind of forgot at the moment. I hope it was clear that I was like, "Is this football? Is
It's
this
just a person.
is a hockey?"
And at one point, one of the Christians said something, and Josh finally was like, "Just whatever sport."
listen, y'all are lucky because I was gonna come out with Cal Ripken, Michael Jordan, like that's who was coming out for me, and I was like, yeah, but I don't think they play anymore. So,
Cal Ripken.
I wonder if Billy Ripken's still playing. Joe Orsolak, anybody?
They were released in the last year of Jubilee. All those guys.
I have to say that is something that in that debate I several times thought I wish I could work this in, but I feel like I'll be interrupting if I do. But Jubilee is just the 50th year release. Everybody, let's just remember that the 7th year release is not Jubilee. So just have to everybody keep that in mind.
They love to say that. They love to say that.
I mean, it's an easy thing to mix up. I'm not, but one's a Sabbath year release and one is the Jubilee release, which is the 50th year.
And before we hit the videos, the always lovely producer Jenna has the video ready. Before I do it, I just have to say, the fact that you couldn't put together LeBron James and the LA Lakers is now mind blowing to me because you know who the fuck Billy Ripken is.
That's because there was a baseball card that there was an error on the card or something, and I used to always look for that when I used to collect baseball cards. Also, I liked the Orioles, but
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yep, Cal Ripken Jr., Iron Man.
I hate baseball.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm a Canadian who lives outside of Toronto. It's
the Blue Jays. You got the Blue Jays.
Yeah, outside of Toronto. I live outside.
So you're a Drake
far away.
He probably likes hockey or something weird.
So you're a Drake fan, is that what you're saying?
A drink fan.
Drake.
A Drake fan. Oh, no. So I know of him because I have teenagers.
He's a pretty good baseball player.
He's amazing if you like to listen to other people rap other people's music. Anywho, Jenna, let's listen to this little vigia.
I actually did address this Jesus hemorrhoid. He says, so you're ignoring my super chat? Seems suspicious.
No.
Well, wait a
Okay.
minute. Which super chat? I responded to one of your statements. I don't see a
gold.
super.
This is
let me
fucking
see.
gold.
What's your name? Let me see. Jesus hemorrhoid. All right.
I just love
We're going to put it in here. We want you to know that you're being treated fairly. That has an apostrophe.
There it is.
Where would someone find Dr. Braxton or Dr.
Ooh,
Jonathan's
do we have a copy of it in here?
dissertations?
Do you? You can find yours on Amazon.
Hold on. Where is it?
Where is it? Where is it?
I did not write a dissertation. I wrote a thesis. We're actually particular at Trinity about what's what.
You can read it. If you
Yeah, a dissertation formally should be answering a specific research inquiry. A thesis should prove something.
That was such an
Dissertations don't prove things.
interesting
Yeah.
comment.
You can find it.
So guys, is
You
it
can find
weird
the
that I
book
can't hear
version
the
of it.
video?
Yeah. Yeah.
I basically took my dissertation, which was specific to Southern Baptists, and then did some further stuff to make it appropriate.
Which
to
mine was particular to the
evangelicalism.
Southern Baptist tradition.
Can we pause it for just a second so I can
kinda like
tell
along
Kip
the
how,
lines of
to,
Leighton
how he
Flowers.
can hear it?
Trinity is
So
still
mine's publicly
Unfortunately, we
available.
can't.
Yeah.
Can they
On
get
this one,
yours
we can't
anywhere?
talk.
not
Oh,
yet.
you
it
can't?
needs to
Okay,
be.
but we'll
But
get
we're-
it sorted out for the next one, right?
Hold on. Jen's going to fix it. Jen's going to fix it. The next one will be via YouTube. This one is because I clipped it from my phone.
But
I
over
see.
Kip, over in the left, you should see yourself.
Yep.
And then you live preview. If you scroll your mouse over it, there's a little speaker with an X. If you click that speaker, it should.
And Jenna just said in the chat, and we'll play it over again. That way, Kip
Sorry.
No.
I ruined it.
No.
No, I want Kip needs to be able to hear this too, so we can comment on it afterwards. So it's all good. But what Jenna just said in the chat, why do you have to walk around the room to find said paper? Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Oh,
Don't
there we go.
What was the comment? A dissertation.
A dissertation has to prove something.
I thought the thesis.
Oh, a dissertation is answering a specific research question. In a thesis, you actually have to prove something. That was more or less what he said.
I'm
not
not sure I understand that, because I've written both.
I have too, and for me, writing the dissertation was just more work in the same direction as my thesis. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I mean,
I did basically the same thing for both, just a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
for my PhD.
Like my thesis was writing on the meaning of the divine name El Shaddai, and I don't know, it ended up being like 120 pages or something.
Kip, can you hear that?
Oh, sorry.
Very good. I didn't know it was coming up yet. Kip, can you hear it?
Is the video going?
It is now. Oh.
No, it's not. So I found the button. It does echo.
So you're ignoring my super chat?
Yeah, I hear it.
Well, wait a minute. Which super chat? I responded to one of your statements. I don't see a super. Let me see here. What's your name? Jesus Hemorrhoid. All right. We're gonna put it in here.
It's worth it just to hear him say Jesus Hemorrhoid.
Fairly, that has
absolutely.
There it is.
Jesus Hemorrhoid.
Where would someone find Dr. Braxton or Dr. Jonathan's
do we have a copy of it in here?
dissertation?
I'm walking around my library.
You can find yours on Amazon.
Hold
on.
Oh, I wonder if he's got like a bound copy.
I did not
of
write
it
a
or something.
dissertation.
I'm
I wrote
sure
a
he
thesis.
does. But
We're actually
he says he's
particular
published
at
it
Trinity
too,
about
right?
Yeah.
what's what.
They said you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, a dissertation formally should be answering a specific research inquiry. A thesis should prove something.
I don't know where
dissertations don't prove things. Yeah.
Dissertations don't prove things.
You can find the book version of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I basically took my dissertation, which was specific to Southern Baptists, and then did some further stuff to make it appropriate.
Which
to
mine was particular to the
evangelicalism.
Southern Baptist traditionalist. My thesis.
So,
kind of like.
Can you
along
pause
the
it for a
lines of Waiting
second here?
Flowers.
So I mean, I'm just going to mute this. I was actually, as soon as he started talking, I peeked up because I was hoping to hear something about what he wrote his dissertation on.
Yeah.
And I mean, what did he say there? He said, "Oh, I did something about the Southern Baptist thing, and I did the other thing." And like, Josh, in a sentence, what did you write your dissertation on, or less?
Yeah, liturgical and school texts from the old Babylonian city of Kish.
How hard is that?
Yeah, because you have to say it to so many people all the time. And I've said it incorrectly a couple of times.
Oh, wow.
I have to tell this story. It's so dumb. There's a very, very small archaeological part of my dissertation. And the reason that it's only a small part is because the excavations at Kish, is a city in ancient Mesopotamia, were done like in the early 20th century. And if you've read my book, the chapter on archaeology, like how it's done, that's not how they did it. Instead of like digging down 20 centimeters at a time in a 1 meter by 1 meter square or something, they dug 5 meter by 5 meter by the length of the site trenches.
My God.
So, like fine spot is an interesting thing. So like when I was looking at where my tablets were found, there's an aerial map that they drew by hand, and there's like this shaded area sort of next to a building, like it's here-ish, right? Is where we found them. So, writing on the archaeology of the find spots of the tablets would have been like, we don't know, like on the site somewhere, right? So there's not a lot to write. Well, anyway, I was talking to a very world-renowned archaeologist, and yeah, I had just decided what I was going to write my dissertation on, and I was really nervous. And she said, so what are you going to write your dissertation on? And I said, yeah, the archaeology of Kish. That's not exactly what I was writing on. That was going to be a very small part. And it's what I'd been thinking about. And as soon as I said it, I thought, no. And she goes, well, good luck with that. And I just think from that point forward, she was like, well, if I ever see that guy come up again, he's just an idiot. So I'm not paying any attention to him. So yeah. Yes. So the point is I learned very quickly how to say what my dissertation topic was.
And you do it well. But I mean, this is when you spend as many years as you do working on a research question. I mean, you've got it burned into your brain, and you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of astonishing to me that he managed to answer what his dissertation was about without telling me anything.
Nothing.
Nothing. Something about Southern Baptists, right?
I wonder.
Yes, that's all I got.
I mean, I guess it's. Sorry, I always feel like I'm. Maybe
you're doing the right thing, being charitable here.
Maybe it is something that he thinks is incredibly complicated and tedious, or hasn't said it to a broader audience, and so hasn't worked out like how to say it in a way that would be understandable.
That's fair.
Maybe.
And I would say that's fair. But if we listen to what Pritchard says next, I have my doubts.
What Pritchard says next, it always gets dangerous. But before we hit the play button again, this just hit me because, and I love and appreciate this about Dr. Josh. He is always uber charitable, way more than I can ever be, and gracious and kind. And it just hit me because as we were prepping for the show, Jen and I were watching Key and Peele. I am Luther to Dr. Josh. If you're not familiar, Luther is Obama's anger interpreter. Obama's always talking very peacefully, graciously, very humbly, and Luther's right there. As soon as there's a pause in the conversation, Luther's like, "God damn it! Did you hear me, motherfuckers?" I am that to Dr. Josh.
It's the opposite of the young lady that was on Dr. Phil, the Catch Me Outside. How about that? It'd be like her mother. What she means by that is that she would like to fight you right now, and if you would like to step outside with her, she would engage in hand-to-hand combat with you.
Exactly. And that's what when they ask Dr. Josh, what exactly is Oz saying right now? Well, he would love to firmly wrap his hands around your throat. No, I'm kidding. That just hit me. Yes, that's the role I play here. I complete the Trinity. Go ahead, babe. Hit that Vigia. Oh, super chat.
Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the
What's up, Gio Sam for $10? $10. One of the greatest discoveries I've made is that I can alter my life by altering my attitude. Thanks for helping me out with that. Love you, Gio.
Yeah.
For real.
That's a really good
I
point.
just realized that I gave the build up to the other video, and then I had Jenna play this video. So we'll play this one and do the presentation of my degree.
Okay.
and then we'll do the other one last.
Okay.
But we are going to address it. And it might be better that we address that last. I'll have a little more drink in me, but but we will not end the stream without addressing that because that was some cowardly bullshit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. So go ahead, babe.
Trinity is
So
still,
mine's publicly available.
Yeah.
Can they get yours anywhere?
not yet. It needs to be.
Okay.
But we're still trying to recompile all of our electronic version stuff so that we can make that stuff.
Oh, but that's
available.
just one of my things. I also have a thesis at
No play.
Luther
no play.
Rice.
Luther Rice.
Well, you know what? We've seen.
But aren't you converting that to?
we've
I
seen
have a
it.
doctorate
I don't
from
even think
Luther
we need to
Rice.
watch the rest of that because they talk their shit. You know, where is the dissertation? Where is the dissertation? No one knows where the dissertation is. Oh, I didn't write a dissertation. I Southern Baptist. That's all we got out of it. So before we get into the meat of this, because there's a stream that we have timestamps and everything written out where we're going to tackle this. We're going to dissect this. But before we go there, tonight, I officially get my education.
It's been a long time coming.
Oh God, you
long time.
From the finest school that John and I can come up with with 7 days notice.
Yeah, and this is totally real. Just don't even.
It's so totally real. You may not even know whether it's real or not real. But tonight,
It's just about as real as Patriot University.
yes. So as the student, I'll shut up and y'all take over, and we'll have a zoomed in version. But I'm a doctor, motherfuckers.
Here we go.
Yeah, let me because this is official, you know. And Kip, is it okay if I read it, or would you like to read it?
You go ahead and read.
So, the International Unholy Trinity University College of the Bible and Seminary School certifies that Austin Ozzy Mills has successfully completed the required course of study approved by the private, but listen, very real and not fake at all,
Not fake.
Board of Education for the International Unholy Whatever School, and is therefore awarded this Doctor of Philosophy in real biblical scholarship. Congratulations, Oz. You've worked hard for this.
Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the.
I would just like to thank God. My Savior, Lord Jesus. No, I'm kidding. No, I appreciate it, and now forever on the YouTubes and everyone else, or everywhere else on all of our interweb platforms, I will, yes, be referred to as Dr. Oz.
Which won't be confusing, I'm sure, to anyone.
Not at all.
Nope, just know I'm the one that DJs. The other guy, he doesn't know anything about DJ.
We have fun.
plan that because you know what, and this is the kind of the build up to this. We do that in jest and having fun, but it's to prove a point. Where as far as the credibility, right? The credibility of the, or I'm sorry,
Of the document.
of the document, where it comes from, and the work that has to go in to earn said piece of paper, because it could just be like that. What you guys gave it could just be a piece of paper that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Right? But for those that have actually done the fucking work, man, and hours and hours and days and months and years, it's a slap in the face, right?
So,
It's a slap.
I think
in the face.
it's probably worth pointing out here too that there are. So I mean, what we're talking about here is the very touchy issue of accreditation, and you know, there are anybody who founds a college, awards a degree, whether they have accreditation or not, And I think it's worth pointing out that most people who go to college, accredited or not, work hard for what they get. The problem occurs, though, when lots of these non-accredited schools don't have the same sort of oversight of an accrediting agency. So, regardless of what they're teaching, there's no control, and nobody really knows from the outside exactly what's going into a student's education that they're paying good money for.
Absolutely.
And to be very clear, so like when I was, this is not exactly in the same vein, but back when I was, a fundamentalist evangelical, I was in the Air Force, and I was looking to go get my bachelor's degree. And there was, and I will probably now blank on the names of these schools, but there was the denomination that I was in was like a hyper dispensationalist denomination, and they had two schools, one that was accredited out in Michigan, and the other was unaccredited in somewhere else that I can't remember. And I had determined, knowing that I was going to go to the unaccredited one. And you might say, why? Why would you do that? Well, the reason is, for me, the state didn't have control. So I was going to be able to get the pure, unadulterated teaching of the word, right? It wasn't going to be encumbered by, oh, you have to teach this amount of this and you have to teach this amount of that. I was going to be able to tailor my degree however I wanted it to, and I could just focus on what the Bible actually said, right? Not have to worry about man's, intruding on my education in that way. So for me, that would have worked out because I didn't care about the accreditation side of it. And if that's where somebody is, that wouldn't work for me now. But if that's where somebody is, what is it that you got? You do you, boo,
That's great. Yeah.
But I think for me, and I think probably for Kip and for other people as well, it's not that it matters personally. When Kent Hovind comes out and says, I'm Dr. Kent Hovind, I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all. What sort of bothers me is that then if people don't know that there are varying levels of rigor, maybe that go into different degree programs. Right. If they don't know that and they just see doctor at the front.
So
sorry. Go ahead, Kip.
No, I was going to, if I can pick up on that, I'll tell you where it does matter. When I was doing my MA, my wife and I were attending a church, and we had to, at the end of the semester, we had to move out of our place, and we needed a place for like 4 weeks or whatever before we took off. I had a job that I used to work. I was a camp director at like a summer Bible camp, which was the funnest job I've ever had. But that's besides the point. And we needed a place to stay, and the pastor of our church told us we could stay there. And in the time that we stayed there, I met his sister, and she told me this story. She was in I think it was a master's program at Simon Fraser University, which is in Burnaby, British Columbia, and doing library science or something like that. But she had an undergraduate degree from a Bible college that was connected to the university where I did my bachelor's degree, but had folded up shop basically by that time. And they used to award something called a BRE, a Bachelor of Religious Education. And they were accredited by and it's quite a large, it is an accrediting body. So, I mean, at least they have some sort of accreditation, but it's the Coalition of Christian Colleges and Seminaries of America or something like that is the accreditation body. And she tells me the story of coming out of this Bible college with her degree that she paid for and spent 4 years earning, and went to enter this MA program at Simon Fraser University. And as she was going through the application and entrance process, they came back to her and said, well, you need to go and do 3 more years of school because there's only like 7 courses in your program that actually transfer over. That's for lots of people, this is where it gets real. And this is why accreditation can be so important, because it's just that without the backing of it's kind of like maybe it's a bad example because nothing's gold standard anymore, right? But back when currency was gold standard, it's like the accreditation was kind of like that backing. Like we've got the money in the bank sort of thing. It does make a big difference in various contexts.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And I think like obviously that's a very real issue, right? And I think so people need to be very well aware. And I think there are like people that do research specifically into this sort of thing, right? And they look at different universities and they say, look, here's the different levels of accreditation, all those sorts of things. And I'm sure, I would hope that most of them are upfront about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think that's obviously that's the ethical thing to do.
It's the ethical thing to do.
But from the other side of it, I suppose, where it can get problematic is when you have like 2 people or two groups of scholarship that are both making claims about, let's say, a biblical text, right? And they say, okay, well, look, here, this passage, means X in this context. And the other group says, no, it doesn't mean that. Or the other scholar says, no, it doesn't mean that. Well, they both say doctor, right? The people that are making the claims both have doctor in front of their names. One of the things that like when and this is just my experience with other people, like when I got my degree, the first thing that I started doing, and I did it, I think, even when I certainly did it when I was in grad school, is you see somebody make an argument, you immediately look them up, like instantly look them up. Where did they go to school? Where did they get their undergrad? But more importantly, where did they get their PhD, right? That's the first thing you do. And then after that, what have they published, right? Mm-hmm. So if somebody's making novel arguments, right, they're going against, let's say, the consensus of scholarship in a particular area. I'm not just going to look up where they got their PhD. I'm going to look at what they've written, particularly what they've written recently, right? What is their publication track record? This is why, and everybody should take note of this, this is why in my books, I'm not making novel arguments. Right. I'm not coming out and saying, the consensus is wrong about this. This is my position. I did that in my dissertation, but even there, it was very like guarded. And this is this is what I think, but maybe not. You won't see me making arguments that go against consensus scholarship because that's like I don't think that's. I was going to say I don't think that's ethical, but that's not my place here. That's not my place here. I'm a liaison more than anything. But that's the thing. If I were going to make a new argument, if I were going to say something, I'd run it by 10,000 different people first that were experts in that field. But secondly, I would expect somebody to look me up. Like David Falk, he did a stream on me a couple years ago.
I know.
Right.
We remember.
And he was like, "Oh, this isn't peer reviewed. It was peer reviewed. It wasn't formally peer reviewed." Right? Joel Baden and Francesca Stavrakopoulou read it. But I mean, like, yes, that's true. It did not go through a formal peer review process. But that's because that's not what that publication is meant to be. It's not meant to do that. And so, but I would, and I told him this actually on the phone, like, I think that's the right move, right? When you come across a publication, you look up who wrote it, where'd they get their degree, what have they written recently, and did this thing get peer reviewed? Because if they're making new arguments that go against seemingly the whole or the majority of scholarship, man, you want to know where that's coming from. So, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
I've waxed on long enough.
No, I think all of this is valuable leading up to this because we are going to get into some shenanigans. So, but we have to lay the serious foundation first, and understand that this is where we're coming from, and we get to shenanigans because it naturally it's a natural progression. Because you start talking about all this shit and this and this and here and this, but nobody can verify anything that you're talking about, right? And we're talking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit radio. Is like where do we find these things? How do we know that you did all of these things that Dr. Josh, Dr. Kip are talking about? And anytime, I wouldn't even say pressed, anytime they're questioned, it's this discombobulated, whatever. So the last question I would have, and Dr. Josh or Dr. Kip, you both, or either you can answer this, and we'll get to the video. And one of the things, Dr. Josh, that you had said, spurred this in my mind as I was listening, is the willingness, not just willingness, but the dare I say, desire to attend a non-credited establishment, university, and do that. Would we agree or disagree that the indoctrination and the lenses, the theistic lenses were determining that path for you as you made those decisions versus how you see it now? Because you even said that wouldn't be acceptable to me now. Yeah. Would it be the lenses of indoctrination or that persuasion that caused that, would have caused that decision?
Oh, 100% for me. Yeah, no doubt. Now, I mean, I can imagine other reasons that people might go to an unaccredited institution. One might be maybe the rigors of the academic program will not be as stringent, right? Or the program might not be as rigorous, or there might be more leniency, or excuse me, it might be faster, it might be easier, those sorts of things. And they don't necessarily care about publishing later. They just like the idea of having the title doctor in front, right? These are some of the reasons. Again, I'm not suggesting that any particular person for any particular institution, but these things crossed my mind, right? When I was thinking about when somebody told me when I was going through seminary, one of my professors said, "You like the languages so much, this would be stupid for you not to go get a PhD." Like the first thing that went to my mind is, oh my God, that sounds so hard. Well, this program looks a little easier than this program. Well, it doesn't have the same level of accreditation or whatever, but it'd be easier. Like those are the thoughts that do go through your mind. So it just depends on what you want to do. That's why I say, like, I don't think that unaccredited institutions are bad or something. That's not my point at all. I think they might be exactly what people. There's a reason that adult education is such a big deal, right? Because not everybody wants to go through this rigmarole.
Yeah.
Where I think this becomes an issue is if we're not upfront about it.
Bingo.
Yeah, and I think from an ethical standpoint, and again, I'm not making any suggestions about anything or anyone. I'm just saying this very, very generally. I think it's important when we talk about this that we say, look, if this program that I'm going to, or this program that I got my degree from, or whatever, I'm not saying that you have to come out every time you talk about it or something, but just like what I said. Because I'm not publishing regularly, I think it would be very problematic for me, given that I just don't have the time to do this sort of thing, for me to start bucking the system, right? Because I don't, other than, I mean, outside of just being unwise from an academic standpoint, I don't think it's terribly ethical to do that, because I don't think I have the time to do that research responsibly, if that makes sense. If I did, then I would change my mind on that if somehow I got more time. I'm going to shut up. But that's what I'm saying. I'm just rambling on now. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. Dr. Kip, any thoughts on that before we get to the Vigia here?
Well, I was just going to say, by way of an example, at this summer camp that I used to work at, one of the sponsoring churches, the pastor there was an instructor at this tiny little. I actually don't even know how big it is, but it's a small Bible college out in rural Saskatchewan. You guys familiar with rural Saskatchewan?
No.
It's pretty empty and there's not a lot there. So I think it was called Millerville College of the Bible or something like that. And they were like totally upfront about the fact that we're not accredited and we absolutely do not want to be accredited. And the reason they didn't want to be accredited is because with accreditation, they would have to commit to doing things that they didn't want to do. And they didn't think that, it was right for them to do, because one of the things that they did a ton of was what are called like homiletics training for people, for guys to preach from a pulpit, like sermons and stuff. And they put so much focus on that. Everybody who graduated from Millerville, ended up doing 7 or 8 courses in just preaching. And this was by design, because they, in their mind, they're like, we want these people to do, to, I guess, preach the word of God the way we think it should be preached. So we're going to emphasize that. And I mean, I thought it was great that they were upfront about that. And everybody who went to Millerville knew, well, I'm only going here because this is a place where people go to learn how specifically to stand up in a pulpit and, preach to a congregation in a Baptist church. So, like, when you're so narrow like that,
right, then
it works for you. It gets problematic when, as one of my mentors used to say, he said to me, this is Craig A. Evans. He's a New Testament scholar now at Houston Baptist in Texas, but he was at the school where I did my MA when I was there, and he told me once that the problem with a lot of Bible colleges is that they can't decide if they're a fish or a fowl, like a fish or a bird. He says, so because they want to do all the academic stuff, but then also want to do lots of the specialized theological stuff, like, hours and hours of classes of preaching. He says they end up, doing a bad job of both of these things together instead of just focusing on one or the other. So, and I think that tends to be what happens with this question of accreditation.
And one more thing, and I think actually your point is probably the the most important one. But just as I was thinking about this, I don't know this, but I suspect that it's costly. Accreditation is costly, right? Because you have to have an independent third party, I think, come in and do this, and they're not going to do that for free, I wouldn't think. And so, of course, those costs get passed on to the students through tuition, and so I think there are a lot of things that go into this sort of a decision. So, if a school feels like they're going to try to be a fowl or a fish, I don't know which one's which in that analogy.
I don't know which was which either. I just knew that they're different.
Yeah. I think once that decision is made, it's based on, not once, but for that decision, it's based on a lot of these factors. And I think as long as everybody's upfront and knows about it, I think that's good.
And that's where and that's why I don't think I know it was important to take time to talk about that before we get into the video, because now I'm going, my doctorate is going to go on full bloom right now, and I'm going to talk all the shit when we get into the video. When we get in the video, I'm going to talk all the shit, because that's what my doctorate is talking all the shit. But from the
This is why
that was your minor. That was your minor, though.
Oh, my bad. God damn it.
You got to be careful, right? Be upfront about this stuff. And your dissertation's real, right? I mean, it's just embargoed.
It's been embargoed.
Yeah, it's been embargoed.
It's been embargoed. It's located in a hang vault somewhere where I don't even know. So no,
it's in the very real location of the very real school.
It's very real, and it's the Atheist Baptist.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh!
That's all you know. That's it. And that's all, right, Jenna?
I mean, what I picture when we talk about this. Have you guys ever read Kent Hovind's dissertation?
I have read Kent Hovind's dissertation.
I mean,
I read enough to laugh.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it open with, "Hi, my name's Kent Hovind."
My name is Kent Hovind.
I mean,
does your dissertation not open like that?
It does not. I started like that, but then I thought, this has been done to death. I'm going to do it differently.
When I read, like I said, I think I read maybe half of it. That's all I could bear.
Wow.
When I read
it's hard. It's a hard to read.
It is. It's stupid. But when it's hi, my name is Kent, or hi, my name is Kent Holmes. But I literally wanted to. I was like, why is this in text form? I need this audibly because I want to remix the Slim Shady. Hi, my name is. I want to remix it with Kent Hovind, but I can't because it's just on paper.
You know what? I recorded. I recorded some of it on Skylar's channel because I read the first couple pages for him out loud. And I don't sound exactly like him, but I mean, I sound close.
I mean, I didn't think about that prior to this. I'm the dumbass right now. Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that. But before we get to the video, we do have a super chat that I've been waiting to put up here. So before we read it, have a drink.
Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the.
A super chat from Heathen Queen, $2. Thank you for the support. She said Joshua, so I'm going to treat this very serious. Why does Oz get a doctorate, Joshua, and I don't?
Well, to be fair, the school is closed. I mean, I guess you could always go to Patriot University.
LeBron James? Is that the answer? I don't. Is that the answer?
LA Lakers. Go Lakers. Oh, God.
Why do I feel like that's going to get clipped and be up on Grr Mania's stream like repeatedly? Why do I think that's going to happen?
All right, that was
You
beautiful.
here tonight?
Oh, we got another one. That's not the right buttons, asshole. That's not the right buttons. Stop it. There it is.
Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the
And we got $5 from Stupid Whore Energy. Thank you for the support. Please don't end the stream until Dr. Josh can ground his ability to make predictions.
I think that's predications. Oz, you know,
No, it said predictions.
it's okay.
Dr. Oz?
It said
But
predictions.
hey,
I'm ready to
you know,
regret this.
listen, this is another important thing.
You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
No, actually, this is actually a really good teaching moment for everybody. Today, I was in Jay Passick's stream, and I couldn't find this particular stream that he was reviewing. And so I asked in the side chat, like, how do you find that? And somebody said, you have to click on the live tab, doctor, and put it in quotes, right? And I know they were kidding, but this is something that comes up a lot, right? If you're a doctor, you should know everything. And what people don't get is that your PhD of necessity is very, very focused, right? So this idea that I mean, look, you have a PhD in ancient Near Eastern studies, so I should be able to ask you something about the late Neo-Babylonian Empire, and you should be able to tell me all about economic texts, you know, from the reign of, I don't know, Naraglissa or something. Like, if I worked in the old Babylonian period in the early second millennium, like, just because that's Assyriology doesn't mean that I'm going to know everything about it. I can probably ask interesting questions about the topic.
To be fair, Josh, there are some guys out there who don't help matters by
Oh my God.
promoting this idea that maybe they know everything there is to know about everything. I'm not naming names here.
There is a spectrum. There is a spectrum, right?
There is a spectrum. I'm not naming names here, but there is a certain show that does a certain live Q&A every Friday night on YouTube, and the certain host holds a legitimate PhD from a very good school, and I'm sure he's good at what he does. I mean, within his very narrow spectrum, very narrow field of expertise, but it does get a little concerning when someone posts a question about his opinion on the historicity of King Arthur, and then he proceeds to take 6 minutes to answer that question. I mean, when somebody asks me that question, I'm like, how should I know?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would I know this?
Yeah.
So my point is that people make these assumptions naively at the outset, and it doesn't help matters when others play into those or leverage their credentials in places in which they have no business speaking ex cathedra.
And maybe, to be fair, maybe we should start shifting, because the pressure that I feel is that, okay, people have this idea in society that, okay, well, when, Dr. Josh says something, I can lean on it, right? Well, like my biggest fear is that they're going to say that I'm going to say something, and then they're going to go say, well, Dr. Josh said, right? And it's going to be wrong. So that's why you'll hear me say all the time, hey, this isn't my area of expertise. I'm just going to give you my opinion, right?
And that's why we build up to this. That's why we build up. Thank you, Dr. Josh. That was a perfect segue. That's why we're built.
Segue.
Segue on my segue. We're going to get to super chats first, but no, that's why I wanted to have this conversation building up to this, because it is important to understand the separation. And when you hear these fine gentlemen speak, we will quickly unravel why it's very different to listen to Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip versus these two characters. But before we do that,
but Oz, and just to
not
sort
about
of
everything.
Yeah, because I didn't actually answer Stupid Horror Energy's challenge, right? It wasn't a question, right? It was just to make me look stupid. But you know what? I'm not going to let that happen, because I can establish the preconditions of intelligibility, because I can instantiate the necessity of ultimate ground being for the provisions of impossible possibilities of the ground of all being. So, there you go.
Dr. Josh, is that a universal claim?
Is that true? And do you know that it's true? God, did you see that Eric Hovind video clip or whatever where he turned? I think it might have been.
Why are you answering my question with a question?
Yeah.
Is that a universal claim? Don't overtalk me.
Yeah. Hey, dude.
Dudettes and all the other ets. We have like a whole string of super chats that rolled in. So let's get to these really quick. No, you're good. They all poured in like at one time. So let's do this, and then we're going to get to the Vigia. So the first one, and I'll turn this down that way I can talk while the music plays. Super chat from Constellation Pegasus for $9.99. Thank you, Dr. Josh and Dr. Kill wiped the floor with the two apologists earlier. Agreed. Bring the mop in the bucket. Ground these nuts. Dr. Joshua from Heathen Queen for $2. Ground these nuts. Another super chat from Stupid Horror Energy. These nuts, I say, and don't need grounding. And super chat from Zaft K, $5. Thank you everybody for all the support. Bengals win. Also, having a PhD in chemistry doesn't mean I know about insects and trees and computers. And then another one from Constellation Pegasus. Again, thank you. $9.99. I still don't get it. How can God wean the Israelites of slavery when they originally didn't have them? And we have Unmas from Heathen Queen, $2. One of us knows about grounding, Josh, but pop off. I'm gonna make this awkward as fuck. No, I'm kidding. So there's a Vigia. There's a Vigia. What? Oh, Pat. Yeah. There you go, Pat. You got the Undertaker and Kane, and yes, I am Paul Bear. And if you look at the urn, it has all the Christian YouTuber names on there that we've all just done away with, dismissed, and destroyed. Amen. But now, I just realized I didn't have it on full screen. Let me fix. Nope. Don't play yet, motherfucker. All right, so now we're actually going to hit the Vigia, where we have the timestamps and everything. Why Why is this doing this? Why is this doing this now? Motherfucker.
Are you just going through from the top of the timestamps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll start off here. And if you're not familiar, this is TR Radio. That's what I'm going to call it for this evening. TR Radio. And to your left, that is Jonathan Missed It Pritchett, as we've referred to him many times here at Tang Gang. And to the right is, I just call him Braxy. I just call him Braxy. Cute little ball-headed Braxy. We're gonna listen to them, and we have timestamps. So let's do the damn thing. I should probably add mute. You fucking guys, it's my first day on a job. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's my first day on the job.
Should I be able to hear it?
Yeah, I can't hear it either.
No audio. No audio. Okay, hold on.
You what?
I just, hey, listen, you sons of bitches. I
Sorry.
just said I'm a rookie out here. Oh, I see.
But you look good while you're doing it, man. That's the thing.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Oh, I'm. All the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's try this. I think I got it. Let's try this. Are you ready?
Dr. Jonathan Pritchett.
Can you hear it now?
To someone else.
I can hear it.
Yeah, boy.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But certainly with respect to some TikTokers. Dr. Pritchett has not gotten involved in the world of TikTokery. Have you? Does your wife watch TikTok? Do you watch TikTok ever? Just watch it? Do you ever do reels? Shorts?
Like those things on Facebook?
The TikTok thing on every other platform.
Once again, yes, if some fitness influencer or homesteader. No, if it's any of this stuff. Christian or atheist.
Well, all right then. So let's go ahead and New Testament theologist says, "Don't let Prime expose himself." I appreciate the geometric animal shirt. Yes, that is from a little-known YouTuber. Let's try to help him out. He's called What Do You Meme? John McCrae.
So this was news to me recently that I guess Jonathan Pritchett has a YouTube handle and they call him Prime.
Really?
Yeah. Prime.
Like Transformers?
I don't know. That's what I thought right away, right?
Maybe it's like a really
it's
high
probably-
quality type of steak or something. Or a number that isn't divisible
by
by
any
s-
number
right.
other than one.
I went really far in math, everybody. Really far.
I'm glad you did too. That's how I got my doctorate tonight, motherfuckers. All right. Anyway, 424. That's when we get into good shit. We're going to talk about New Testament theologists.
This is one of their fans, their commenters.
Let's get it.
Our audience to get One Life over 1,000 yesterday. Thank you all for that. Thank you so much on behalf of One Life Church. New Testament theologist Nick Quint, incredible guy with an incredible degree from Fuller, I think. And
Well, I mean, it's not Trinity, but you know.
Well, I just said it was an incredible degree, and he's one of the
That's overselling
sharpest
it.
Ouch.
biblical minds you're going to encounter.
I personally have to pause there because I consider the source of my doctorate extremely more credible than theirs.
It's not Fuller.
And it's not rice and grain and rice.
Luther Rice.
Fuller's, I mean,
Fuller's pretty good.
pretty good school.
Yeah. I think that surprised me more than anything.
There are a number of times, I was telling Kip this today, like there are a number of times where I ask myself, like, is he kidding? Because I think he is, but he may have a similar sense of humor to what I have.
Bad though.
Which also would be similar to mine. So, like we're separated at birth, you know. I will say things, and Megan will answer, like she'll explain something to me, and then she'll look over at me, and I've got this like half smirk on my face. She's like, Joshua, because like I was kidding, but she couldn't tell, and it was that dumb, you know, the thing that I was saying.
Yeah.
Well, you're much better looking than Jonathan Braxton. So you got that.
I think he comments at some point on his physique, doesn't he? Is that
he's apparently an exercise machine. We could probably skip ahead to the next one. Oz 727.
727. Uno.
Yep.
No, not uno. Un momento. 727, right?
Yes.
Oh God, look at that face. Look at that face. That's sexy. That is sexy. That is sexy. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. That's sexy. Look at, he's so deep in thought.
Who is into physical fitness and an egalitarian, I can agree with both of those things. There are a lot of flabby, weak men in the church, and of course, as a complementarian, you know, background, I've seen and witnessed that you know a lot of women are turned off by this notion, this caricature of complementarianism that it is, you know, just get married and be submissive to your husband. But it
All right, I'll let it go. That's not.
never actually works out that way in reality because, again, coming from that background, the biggest simps I've ever met are these Southern Baptist complementarian types, and they simp harder than male feminists trying to get dates from these frumpy leftist chicks. But to the credit to the Southern Baptist complementarians, they actually do get women and more.
See, this is where, like, okay, if he's kidding,
But he's not.
yeah. The thing is, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Kip. You should probably go.
It really doesn't matter. Is the point? You're right.
Yeah.
So no, go.
My
Josh.
grandfather, I was telling Kip today, my grandfather had this thing that he used to say. He said it all the time. He would say, I wear the pants in this family, right? And then he'd kind of lean in and he'd say, she told me I could. And the thing is, what he meant it, right? If you could like dig down into his brain and get at his intentions, like he meant it as a compliment to her, right? He meant it to show that he loved her and he supported her. The problem is that it's coming from this incredibly patriarchal structure that he's bought into and lives by, and is feeling like this is the best way that he can live it out to support her, because it's under this assumption, and this is like best case scenario for I think what I just heard Jonathan Pritchett say, because even if he's kidding, horrid what he said.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think I'm just looking here. at my notes. So maybe I'll save this. Maybe jump ahead to the next so yeah, jump ahead to the next one at 8:48.
Alrighty. No momento. No. Un momento, por favor.
I think he said it right. He didn't quite say it. He didn't quite get around to. You haven't moved it yet, eh? So just finish off, or did you move it? Sorry, I'm on the wrong tab.
Well, I'm still.
Oh, you did move it. No, don't worry about it. So I'll just say this. He finishes off his sentence there by saying, to the credit of the Southern Baptist complementarians, they actually do get women, and more attractive ones according to science. Conservative women are more attractive than liberal women.
Right. Yeah, and hold on.
So-
'Cause he just jumped. Let's play. And Kip, I hate cutting you off, but let's rewind.
No, it's good.
That way we can hear him say it.
Okay.
Complementarianism that it is. Just get married and be submissive to your husband. But it never actually works out that way in reality because, again, coming from that background, the biggest simps I've ever met are these Southern Baptist complementarian types, and they simp harder than male feminists trying to get dates from these frumpy leftist chicks. But to the credit to the Southern Baptist complementarians, they actually do get women, and more attractive ones, according to science. Conservative women are more attractive than liberal women. But be that as it may, I do agree with both of these.
There you heard it.
Yeah. So jump ahead to the next one, which is at 8:48.
I almost just want to have Heathen Queen come in for about 5 minutes. I won't.
Yeah.
I
we're
won't suggest
probably
that we
the wrong
subject her to
people,
that because I feel like it would give her an aneurysm to
This
have to deal
kind
with.
of continues in the same vein, right?
Yeah.
From
I'm not a woman. I'm not a woman, and that enrages me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if he's kidding, and I'm not sure that he is, right? But it doesn't matter.
Oh.
He's not kidding.
And I think they're being funny, right? Or he thinks he's being
They're attempting
funny.
humor, yeah.
But he means that, like he definitely means this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this is not the
Or
first
it
time.
comes across that way.
Yes.
This is
It
not the first
absolutely
time
comes
he-
across that way.
This is
Sorry,
no, you're good. This is not the first time he or Braxy have said some dumbass side out of the side of their mouth bullshit like this. Like this is not the first time.
I mean, words like, and sorry, I'm not 100% sure of what simping entails, but I mean, from the context of what it going after frumpy liberals or leftists, whatever word that he used, and then, scientific, the focus on physical attractiveness. It's just, guys, please hear me. And if there's one thing that be really useful for us to really let sink in, is that women don't just want to be appreciated and valued for their looks, right?
Yeah.
Like let's try to remember that as we move forward from this point, at least. This was a lesson that I had to learn, that in some ways that I'm still having to very much work out, because I've come from a very long tradition in my life of, what women want is to know that they're beautiful. Well, that's because that's the value that we've placed upon them in this society, right? And that's not what matters. And that's why when we talk about when we talk about when I talk about my daughters, I don't, the first thing that I say about them is not how pretty they look, right? It's, wow, yeah, that was a really clever thing that you said, or wow, that was really, you're being a lot of fun right now, or in other words, this focus on their value being their physical attractiveness, because what happens when that goes with time, right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm not being
always
terribly
goes.
clear, but yeah,
Oh, I think you are.
it really bothers me.
No, it is clear. And also having a daughter. No, it's no, you having two daughters. No, it's not, it doesn't work that way, bruh. It doesn't work that way, bruh. And I'm gonna wait before I start. I go off because they can get all the smoke. So the next timestamp is
8:48, right?
or 8:48. Yeah, my bad. 8:48. No, that's what we just hit, right?
Are you there right now?
Oh, I'm already there. See, I was
All
working.
right,
I
good.
didn't even know it. All right, let's.
But yeah, but you know, in Ephesians chapter 5, where it talks about wives, the whole thing is headed off by submit yourselves to one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a complementarian or an egalitarian, if you're a Christian man, you should be serving your wife just as much as she serves you.
And you're called to love her.
Right. And you're called to be a father to children, just as wives should be mothers to children. That's actually a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Right. So there's something to say here. Look at this. First TikTok out of the chute. Jonathan's not being
What? Jonathan's not being what? Just a 100% like grade A misogynistic asshole? Like,
And probably has no idea that that's how he's coming across. That's what's so scary about this.
Right. And that's why I and we all share, I think, similar motivations, but for me, and again, I said it up top and I'll say it again, anything that I say talking shit, anything that I say ever on this stream, that does not mean that Dr. Josh or Dr. Kip Davis at all endorse this or agree with me or whatever. I want to make that perfectly clear. But he knows what the fuck he's saying. He knows what the fuck he's saying. And he's entering into this conversation already knowing that he's going to ruffle feathers and he's going to piss people off. And guess what? For Mr. Pritchett, that's what gets him off. That's what gets him off, is knowing that he's pissing people off.
So I think this is where it comes from, though, right? Like, out of that Southern American evangelical culture. I mean, it's always kind of astonishing to me how much, when you watch a lot of these popular preachers who kind of come out of that movement, how much time they spend drawing attention to their smoking hot wife. This is Mark Driscoll.
Right.
At Mars Hill in Seattle was famous for this. He would do this all the time. You know, my smoking hot wife. I love, and he'd say, certainly if I ever said such things, from a stage in front of hundreds of people, my wife would like punch me in the mouth and then divorce me. Like, just say gross things about his wife. But I think it comes from, there's an insecurity down there. Here, I should probably not be psychologizing, but I can't help it just because it's so weird, right?
Absolutely.
There's this, it feels like there's this need to continue to promote, how much you hit the jackpot, because look at my wife. Just look at her. Don't bother talking to her, but just look at her.
Because I'm a man. Yeah. Kip, I'm a man. That's where it comes from. That's where it derives from, is that whole I am better. First and foremost, and I'm talking about their worldview, if that's the word we want to use. I don't even know what the fuck a worldview is, to be honest. But their worldview, I'm a man, so I'm better anyway because I'm a man. But then if I'm a man, and I perceive my partner to be more attractive than yours, I'm a better man. Like all of a sudden this turns into a competition.
Or even
Yeah.
meeting a goal, not a goal, like a minimal standard. Like I know I always go back to this sort of stuff, but there's a Seinfeld episode, right, where George and Jerry are sitting around talking, and they're talking about how they're not going to be picky about certain things about the women that they date, right? I think Jerry broke up with because the way she ate her peas, right, one at a time. The corn niblets, she scooped them, you know. But like he's talking about Susan, and he says, "Yeah, I'm going to ask her out. I mean, she's really good looking. You think she's good looking, right?" Like even when they're trying to fight it, it's something that I can speak from my own personal experience, at least here in this society. There's this pressure, right? That there's a minimal standard that reflects on you somehow as a guy, and it's horrible, right? Because how
really is.
brilliant your spouse is,
Right.
how funny they are, right? All these things are secondary and sometimes far down the list, right? It's like the first things that come up. Like what does she look like? I mean, it was in one of the other episodes, right? What does she look like, right? And they go through all the different descriptions of how thick her hair is, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, Seinfeld.
No, you're good. And I will say this, and I'll hit the play button on the next timestamp. Is I actually talked about this in my response to
A complete grumpy curmudgeon.
Oh,
about
you weren't
this.
supposed
He's
to
saying,
play it.
yeah.
Hold on, you weren't supposed to play it. I was doing a review of John Loftus and David Wood's debate on did the resurrection happen, or however they spelled that out. And I said, in regards to David Wood, obviously being facetious in this regard because his last name is Wood. How is anything referred to as wood? How can it be so dense and so hollow at the same time? And when I hear these type of arguments, it's the same thing. Like how is it that you've convinced yourself that you are so full of all of this knowledge and all of this wisdom and all this understanding, but then when it's delivered to the real world outside of your echo chamber, outside of your bubble, you're confronted with so many people that are telling you this is fucked up. This is fucked up. And at what point do we cease being peaceful interlocutors and we become more assertive and aggressive? Because this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit that they're spouting. And at what point do we become more assertive in our approach with people that not only are talking dumb shit, but then they try to apply comedy to it. And ha, I'm Mr. Pritchett, and I have a doctorate. I can't tell you where it's from, but I have a doctorate. Lean on me. It's fucked up, man.
Some Christians have been.
Hold on, I think. Let me check my timestamp here.
10:03.
10:03. Yep, I missed that one.
And I promise this is the last. This is the last of the sexist stuff.
Windbag Southern Baptists get bossed around by their wives. It's just all bluster, in my opinion, because, like I said, they're the biggest simps there are that I've ever
Define
met.
bluster.
This just
Showy
about their, the
Is it
male
like
patriarchy
blather?
versus It's just they're overstating their case.
Well, we actually
and then they ask their wives for permission to do anything.
So Jim Amberg, that's like because you're an egalitarian, but your wife is a complementarian.
Yes,
and
she
so
is.
I've said you should be a good egalitarian and do what your wife says and be a complementarian.
So before anyone says
So it-
anything, I want to jump in here because,
Okay.
and this is going to be me giving, and you know what, you right now you can call me a Dr. Joshua Bowen simp right now, Mr. Pritchett. You can call me that. One of the things that I absolutely respect, first and foremost, respect, respect and appreciate and value about Josh is anytime that he and I are talking about, whether it's doing the show tonight or others or ones in the future, it's almost every time, if not every time, because again, I want to make sure I'm being a proper skeptic and being transparent. But I feel like it's been every time, but maybe a time or two it wasn't. But any time that we've talked about doing a show or doing anything as far as YouTube is concerned, it's always okay, cool, got the dates. Let me talk to Megan. Let me talk to Megan. Not he never said, let me get permission. Let me get permission.
God.
Let me see if I'm allowed to do this. It was never those things, right? It was, I love and respect my partner. Let me communicate with and make sure our schedules meet the dates and the times, and if it's cool, then it's cool, and I'll be there. I've always loved and respected that about Josh and Megan, that they communicate on that level, and they do that. So guess what, Mystic Pritchett? That's where you done fucked up. It's not this, I'm a man, I'm the man, and I get to dictate what my schedule is. And not only that, I get to dictate what your schedule is. No, either this is, and actually this part I love, because Jen and I had a bit of this conversation tonight as far as the sharing of the responsibilities when it comes to communication and being on the same page and doing all that. And the only motherfuckers that I know that actually like live their lives and their romantic relationships out like this, where it's my way or the highway, are those that come from a theistic position, whether it's Christianity, Islam, whatever it is, because they feel like they're supposed to be in control. That's it. I'm done.
All right. I think let's skip ahead a bit. So maybe just jump ahead. So I was in this. I was watching this, and I was in the chat. While this was happening live a few weeks ago, and I think it was around this point I left my first comment and said that I suggested that Pritchett should have his fake PhD revoked for using simps in a sentence. But now I'm a little worried about that comment after you just said simps, Oz. Oh, I've said it now too. So, but maybe let's just jump ahead to where it gets into the I guess the problematic scholarship, which let's just go to 19. No, let's go to 2851.
Oh no, momento. I'm getting there. 2851. You said?
Yes, sir.
You got time for more, Pritchett?
I work for you.
Here we go.
Name one corrupt story in the Bible. Challenge accepted. How about a bunch of them? In the story of Adam and Eve, God intentionally set them up for failure. He placed them in the Garden of Eden, put the tree of the knowledge of good and evil smack dab in the middle of it, commanded them not to eat of the tree, and even though he knew they were going to fail and knew that the serpent would deceive them, God still decided to punish them anyway.
Yeah,
Pritchett.
right. Just like I'm going to punish my kids when I put out cookies in the cookie jar. Look, my kids are now 17 and 20, right? And we make Christmas candies. We make a different Christmas candy once a week. And I'm not just talking about my kids. I'm talking about they're basically adults now, right? And I tell them that I want this round of candy to last until the next round of candy is made.
Yeah.
And the cookie jar is on the kitchen counter. And where we put more than just cookies, we put whatever the dessert is. Now, I know that if I did not hide it,
It wouldn't work.
they'll snoop through my stuff. But
No, I'm saying if you don't hide
I
it,
should
it's
be
not
able to
gonna last.
just leave it there and say, guess what? This is my house. That candy or cookies or whatever needs to last, and I'm not going to take it and remove it from their access to it. But you know what? I also pay their cell phone bills, which means that anytime I want to revoke those cell phone privileges, I can do it. And guess what? I know that candy ain't going to last because it's sitting there on the kitchen counter. I know that. I'm not even omniscient, and I knew what they were going to do.
Child abuse much?
Yeah. It was during this that I had left another comment in the chat, and I said, so few people actually understand the story of Genesis 2. These jokers included, I suggested. And this is something that really does bother me. I think the thing that bothers me the most about this is, it's one thing if you understand that Genesis chapter 2, the story of the Garden of Eden, of Adam and Eve, this is a fable. This is a myth. This is a story from an ancient time and place used to explain things in a creative and interesting way that people from the period didn't know about. But what gets me is that these guys actually believe that this is something that happened. And it always sits. I think even for a long time in my journey while I was still a Christian, this is something that really just did not sit well with me. That you believe that there's people who believe that this is something that actually happened, that God set a cookie jar in the garden, told his children not to touch it, and when they did, he cursed them and every one of their descendants for the rest of eternity to separation and eternal torture in hell. Like, that is messed up. And that's where I think that's sort of the first place where this comment is coming from. Is it's frustrating when people don't understand what's going on in these stories, that this is what comes out of it, right?
And this is what happens. Like, I give this example I think it's in the rape and adultery chapter of volume 2, where if you grew up in a household where if you're sitting around the dining room table and you interrupt somebody, instead of them like saying, hey, I wasn't done, or like Michael the Canadian atheist always says, I'm sorry, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours? That instead, the person that got interrupted gets up, walks over, and punches them in the nose.
Yeah.
right? If you grew up in a household where every time somebody interrupted somebody else, they got punched in the nose, you begin to, and you come to the understanding that the justified reaction and the justified consequence of interrupting someone is to be physically assaulted like that. And so when you go out into like the real world and somebody interrupts you, you end up in jail, right? And you don't know why. I know that's sort of an extreme thing to say, but I think because people, myself included, grew up with this story of like, why is this a problem? Of course. I mean, they had the free choice, right? God gave them the instructions, said, don't do this, and they did it. And so it's justified what God did, not only because it's God, but because we've grown up knowing what the outcome of the story was and how it works into the grand narrative. The problem is, sorry, Kip, just to sort of like bring that around, like
I know.
if we think about this from any other perspective in any other context, as Kip was getting, like, how horrid is this? First of all, nobody would say to, like, you know, like if Oliver, when he gets up in 4 hours,
Oh dear.
no, it's okay. But when he gets up and goes downstairs, like if I leave out a huge box of chocolates or something, right? He's 4. And I say, now don't eat any of these chocolates. I bear some responsibility there, particularly if I unwrap them and like set them in his path as he's like going to get a drink of water or something. Like, or if I have somebody down there saying, hey, Oliver, want some chocolate? Hey, you should have some chocolate. Don't worry, your dad's not going to be upset about that. I bear responsibility if I set these circumstances up. And we all would expect that. And certainly if the punishment was something incredibly severe, we would say, that's not right. We would have a problem with these things. But not in this case, because we've been conditioned to read this differently and to understand it differently. Sorry, God, go ahead.
No, I'll just say this last thing, and then we can move on. But the other thing, so the thing that's the worst of this, right? But the other thing that bothers me is that, I mean, this is really, the story in Genesis chapter 2 and 3 is really on its merits when you understand where it comes from, when you understand what it's actually about. It's a really interesting story. The problem is, it's not easy to get to that. Unless, I mean, you have to learn the languages, because there's a ton of stuff that you miss just through wordplay and through the imagery, and there's some assimilation in there, or not assimilation. Is that the right one? Where things look like each other, words look like each other. It's like wordplay. There's lots and lots of wordplay in this story, and it's really neat. And it helps you to understand some of the nuances of this story. I'll just give as one example. So in Genesis chapter 2, God, builds the man out of dirt. Then he, puts him in the garden. Then he brings the animals to him. And, Adam can't find a suitable helper. And there's probably some sexual undertones taking place there. So then God, puts him into a sleep, extracts a rib, fashions the woman, brings her to the man, and he says his thing, at last this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. A man will leave his parents and cleave to his wife, and they will become one flesh. The sentence that ends this part of the story is, the man and his wife were naked, and they were not ashamed. And the word there, which we translated as naked, is a Hebrew word, arum. In the very next sentence, chapter 3 opens with, now the snake or the serpent, in Hebrew this is the nachash, and it's got some spiritual, divine content. This is like a mystical creature. this creature, this serpent, it says was more clever than all the other animals in the garden. And that word clever is a perfect synonym. Arum. This is not an accident. The writer of this story is very intentionally connecting these ideas. This idea of the nakedness of the couple and how that plays into, you know, their character and their being from creation, and this same quality of the serpent, his intelligence, his craftiness. And it's a very, very important feature of the story, but you miss it. In English, you miss it. You don't see that. And it's one of these neat things. It's one of these neat elements where as soon as you see that, all these other parts within this story start to lock together and like, oh, yeah, I get it. Right? So it's just one of these cool things within this story that is missed, and it's a disservice to the story itself to take these silly surface level approaches to it, as if it's as if this is just what it is, a story about God putting a cookie jar in the middle of a garden.
No, I've never heard it explained like that. Like that's intriguing. that makes me want to go and read or reread again. That's intriguing. But I do want to hit like literally hit pause on the YouTube video, and I think this is very. I know this is justified and needed at this point. Having three white guys on here to talk, just talking shit, you know, and going through this, it is whether it is scholarship or opinions, us doing it just three dudes. I think we're doing a disservice. So Heathen Queen is here with us, and I want to hear from Heathen Queen on what we've listened to so far, because I think hers and others' perspectives, opinions, insights on this matter. So welcome.
Hey, y'all. Hello. I am probably, if I'm being fair, like angrier than I should be about a lot of things. Just existing as I do online and like receiving sort of the constant influx of fucking nonsense. So I will say that I might be a little bit elevated just given the fact that like all day, every day, the bullshit that I see is just astronomical. And that is coming from a white woman, right? So like, even in saying that, like, there is a level of privilege that comes along with that, where I am not receiving racial slurs or like classist slurs or like all of these other things. So like, I want to say that up front, full stop. What I will say is that I do think that like y'all did a good job of handling what they were saying. I don't think you could have offered any other perspective, because you're not women and you haven't been socialized as women. So like, this is not a knock on you guys at all. Like, I'm fucking pissed, but it has nothing to do with the three of you. Let me just say that. Like, it has nothing to do with the three of you. It has everything to do with the fact that, like, yeah, well, you know.
Think they're God. Think they're God.
You never know. Josh was getting some texts. No, I think something that really just like it jams my Glock, you know what I mean? That like, when we talk about these things, like I don't think we really engage with how damaging this shit is to women. Like, it is so fucking damaging at like such a profound level that I don't even know how to like properly articulate it. Like, so I consider myself to be like a pretty strong, independent woman, right? And I think most people would agree with that. And I realized the other day that my main issue with the fact that I have gained weight over the pandemic, like not even that much weight, like probably 10 to 15 pounds from where I was. Nobody else in the world gives a shit or notices, but I did. And when I really did some digging into that, like, why do I care? It was because I thought men like me better when I'm skinny. Do y'all understand how deeply that shit has to be ingrained in somebody like me for that to be something that haunts me daily? Like, do y'all spend any time, and this is not meant like you three, but like generally speaking, right? Like, this is not me attacking you guys. It's just me being very honest about like what women sort of live. I don't know, and I'm sure there's men out there, but I don't know men that think about their physical appearance and whether or not that means that they'll ever find a life partner. Every 2 minutes of the day. Like, women are constantly thinking about the value that their looks and their body and their weight and whatever holds, because that is all they are told they're ever worth. That's it. Doesn't matter if you're a fucking Nobel Prize winning scientist. Doesn't matter. You know what matters? What size are you? And is your face symmetrical? That's fucking it. And like, it is exhausting. Sorry, I know I'm on I'm on my soapbox at this moment, but like, I could cry talking about this. It is exhausting to live your life knowing that it doesn't fucking matter how smart you are, how funny you are, how charismatic you are, how anything you are. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is if you meet the society's conventional beauty standards, and that's fucking it. And then you're told day after day that one day you're going to get too old and you're not going to meet this standard anymore. And then the person that you have invested your life in is going to find a younger version of you. That is what we are fed every day. And so that's part of the reason that, like, a bunch of us, when people are like, not all men, like, we know it's not all men, right? But it's so many men so much of the time that we can't trust that it's not the man that we love. We can't. Like, that's the reality of the situation. It doesn't matter how much we trust a man. We have seen it play out over and over and over again that somebody met a man that they thought was not one of those guys, that was yada, 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 and that fucked them over at the first possible opportunity. Of course it's not all men, but like, you have a bowl of M&Ms and one of them contains cyanide. Are you digging your hand in that bowl? Fuck no. Right? It's like, I just think that, like, and I know, the thing is like, I know these guys, like, whatever, Braxton, fucking bullshit ass. Like, these chinchillas are not, like, we're not worried about them, right? Like, none of us are trying to date them. We don't care. Yeah, like,
what?
Chinchillas are cute. I can't believe I even compared them. I did chinchillas a disservice. You know what I mean? Like, God, I was trying to think of an animal, and I was like, anteaters? No, anteaters are like cuter than these guys.
Opossums.
Chinchilla, is that a sports team? I don't...
Go Dubs.
Actually, you probably got that right, Josh.
Yes.
No.
Sorry.
No. I think the like most insulting sports team name is the like Washington football teams, because they was like, you can't be racist, and they were like, well, fine, then I'm just gonna describe exactly what we're doing. Like, okay, so you're just fucking dumb. Got it, Roger.
Oh, I agree that they went from the Redskins, like you
yes,
the Redskins, to now we're the Commanders.
Yeah, but there was an entire period they were like, oh, we can't be racist, then we'll just be the football team. I mean, that's true. Like, y'all are a football team, but like, okay. Anyway,
right, I don't, and I'm still learning this new platform, so I don't know if anybody can see in the chat, but Jessica, first and foremost, thank you for jumping on. I now 2 hours. I have to piss, I didn't piss before the show. So
I'm
I have
very
to,
sorry. I just came on and started yelling.
No. I want to. I think it's important that you're a part of this conversation, but I want to go use the restroom and come back. So y'all chop it up. I'll be back. Give me a minute.
Can I? I want to, and this is. I'm hoping that people like Braxton and Jonathan will watch this. But there was one thing that was going through my mind. Two things actually. One, Jess mentioned that she's elevated, right?
Sorry. Yes.
No, the thing that immediately went through my mind is they will discount everything she said because she's being emotional.
They would discount everything I said.
Right, that's right.
You could see like this right. I have a shirt that's not up to my neck. They'd be like, nah, she's a hoe. And
but it's like
right. However, no, I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, like, it's these immediate things that they can grab onto to discount. But it's interesting because
It's interesting that I have to say. I know I'm elevated, because if a man hopped on here and had like very strong opinions, like they wouldn't have to say like, oh, I'm elevated and whatever. They would just like be seen as passionate and like whatever. And like, but the thing is that I know from a lifetime of experience that if I hop on here and I am justifiably upset about the treatment of women generally, I need to qualify that. Because if I don't, what I am saying will be written off as like hysterical or emotional. Like you said, like you're 100% right. I'm just saying, like, we know.
And this is sort of the other thing that went through my mind is that a lot of the things that you said, unsurprisingly, I think, because I've just interacted, particularly over the past couple of years, on this particular topic, specifically with you and Megan about this.
Josh has had to hear a lot of my screaming.
But it's good because, I mean, it really is. There shouldn't have been a but there. It's good. But the problem is that I'm fumbling through it because, again, I'm trying to relate the experience of a group of people that I was trained the opposite in, and I've never had that experience, which is why, and I feel like we as the panel, and I know Oz already sort of did, but I mean, like, we should say it really explicitly here. Like, there's a reason that when this came up, this bit that was supposed to be probably like a minute of our discussion.
Yeah, and I lost my fucking marbles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I think justifiably so, right? Because it wasn't just a minute. But that's why at the beginning it was like, we should really send a link to Jess, because I mean, Jess is in the community, somebody that's incredibly outspoken about this, because it's so difficult. It's a very difficult job to be outspoken about it.
The reason you know this, Josh, but I'm just saying this out loud. Like, almost all of the women I know think exactly the same way that I do. And like, y'all can call that an echo chamber. That's fine. The only reason that it's hard to speak up about this shit is because you get gaslit by dudes. Yeah. That's it. And so like, I personally don't give a shit because I know what's happening. And like, I'll just ruin your day. But like, a lot of women, justifiably so, are just not prepared to deal with that level of somebody else questioning their entire lived experience. Like, I'll just tell someone to get fucked, because I'm like, this has been my entire life. I have 4 little sisters. I have a bunch of women friends. I exist on the internet. Like, I know this is real, and y'all can like cope, to be honest. But that's the reason that it's hard to speak up for women, is because they will get gaslit into oblivion, and they think that they're crazy for having, for existing and having the experiences that they have. And I know y'all know that. I just want to like make that very clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's the other side of this too, right? Braxton's audience. I mean, how many women are actually in Braxton's audience for
this is something I talk
streams?
about a lot Like, why are y'all
You-
going to men that women don't like to get advice about how to like get women to like you? Like, why
Right?
It's baffling. Sorry, it's baffling.
So there,
Sorry, Kip.
but it's
Just shut up.
just no, but it's like it's just ingrown, right? It's just men talking to men about women, never listening to women, and perpetuating
my
the
TikTok
problem.
account.
And because the only feedback that Braxton and Pritchett are hearing are from,
Their own navel.
you know, this overwhelming audience of guys in their that are following their channel.
I mean, that's the thing is I've realized, because for a while, and I even put this video out, like, quite literally, why are men going to other men that women fucking hate to get advice on how to get women to like them? But the reality of the situation is that the men that are going to these men don't actually care about what women want or what women like or what they need. What they care about is getting their own victimhood validated. That's it. And like, this is not me saying that everything ever is a man's fault. It's not. Like, I'm literally giving a talk in like 6 days about how the patriarchal system of oppression victimizes men and victimizes women, and how like we can't ever actually connect and heal and like reimagine a freer future until both genders and everything in between can unpack and reimagine this system that we exist within, right? So like, this patriarchal system is harmful to men. It victimizes men in different ways than it does it to women, but it actively victimizes both people. And then most men that do not actually materially benefit from this system, they victimize women so they can feel some kind of power. And in doing this, they uphold this system that only benefits the elites. And they don't materially benefit from it, but they have this like short feeling of power that upholds the greater system that really only benefits a select few. So like, when I'm talking about this, it's not me saying like men are to blame for everything ever and like women have no, fault here. Women uphold this patriarchal system too. Absolutely. There is tons of internalized misogyny that occurs. But like, I do think it's really important in conversations like these to really be clear on how damaging this kind of rhetoric is to women. Because even as someone who is as vocal as me, who has gone to therapy for years and continues to go, who like actively does this work and helps other people do this work, like, I struggle to imagine a future in which I can trust a man to love me for any extended amount of time. It, like, struggle. And I don't say that as a joke. I don't say that lightly. Like, I sincerely struggle to imagine being with a man who, when my looks, when I'm 50, right, and my looks are whatever they are, actively chooses me. And I'm not alone in that. Does that mean that, like, that never happens and people don't do that? Obviously not. Like, obviously not, right? That does happen. But when you live in this socialization that tells you that all of your value is in your looks and they will fade, and you are told this in a million different ways every day, and then folks wonder why women don't trust men. And that's not an individual man's fault, right? Like, this is me explaining this kind of like overall what we are taught. Of course there are men who find women that they love and they're in love with them for the rest of their lives. And if you fall out of love with someone, that may have nothing to do with how they look, right? Like, there are nuance to all of this. But the way that what we are told as, I don't know how to say it, like, what we are conditioned to expect, is that men will always be interested in the younger, hotter, whatever model, And the really scary part is that if you look at, and I know like dating sites are not, you know, the whole general public, but if you look at the statistics from sites like this, men of all ages, up until 65, will say that those that they find most attractive are the lowest age they can select. It's 18. Those are the numbers. That's the data. It's not even like me saying that. Like, that is the data that this shit comes up. So like, anyway, all of that is to say that like, y'all did a good job. This is not me shitting on you guys talking about it. I just think it's really important to have this kind of like other perspective where like women are exposed every day in so many ways to this narrative that the only thing that is valuable about them is their body and their face. And like, it actually doesn't matter if they're smart or funny or loyal or like creative or like any of these other things, because it's all replaceable. And what men are actually looking for is an 18-year-old. Like, and that's fucking scary. Sorry. You're muted.
Sorry, and I put my hand up because I didn't want to stop you.
I'll go forever. I'm sorry.
I just
I
wanted
have
to,
thoughts,
like,
you know?
because first of all, you already know I love you. Like, for those who don't know, Heathen Queen, that's a little sis to me. That's a little sis. Yeah, and
I know I was like lit up in the chat. It had nothing to do with my anger at Oz personally, and everything to do with the fact that I fucking hate the patriarchy, and I've spent the last 2 weeks deeply entrenched in creating this presentation, and I'm heated. So yeah.
So and I, before I say anything else, I want to make sure I pointed that out. Like Heathen Queen and I, we're good. That's weird.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And we have zero issues. It's amazing when you actually do love another person, another human. You can have passionate disagreements or agreements, and it not be ugly or nasty. Or you just we agree to disagree as long as there's not hatred and bigotry and all the other shit, you know, hidden or stowed away.
And the reality is that like in situations like this, Oz listens.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's and so does Josh. And like I haven't had these like more intimate conversations with Kip, but I assume Kip does as well, from what I can gather, where it's like I can be as angry as I want about my own lived experience, and I can shout and I can yell and I can say whatever, and they are not going to devalue what I said because I was angry about it, right?
And I just, if I could take 5 seconds and just say this, if you've been a parent and you find out that something that you have done as a parent, even if you were trying to be the most amazing parent, has actually caused harm to your child, that can make you upset, right? I mean, this has happened to me. I mean, it happens to all of us. The problem is that you still have to take that in, listen, and change.
What did
There's
you do,
going to be.
Oliver?
No,
because I will fight you.
You will too. But
you're not wrong. Like, what about the twins? What did you do?
But the same is true when it comes to situations like this, because, like, even tonight, right? Like, when Jess texted me and said, "Read the chat," I turned it on and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm trying so hard, but it doesn't matter." And like fumbling over myself, trying so hard, but it just but ultimately that's not relevant. Right. I mean, it's better than not, I suppose. But I mean, like, because ultimately it's not a question of, hey, are we like giving it our college try, or are we doing what's right? And the problem is everybody fucks shit up. Right. Just don't get mad when somebody points out that what you did wasn't the best and what needed to actually be done. And that's really hard. I know that it's really hard. It's really hard, but we still have to do it. And the reason that you do it is because you care about the people that are hurting.
Yes.
Period.
I mean, the number of times, this is not me patting myself on the back, because there were a number of times where I did not react in this way. But, like, as a white woman who supports, like, anti-racist efforts, the number of times I've been told something is not my place or, like, is not my time, like, I'll be completely honest, it felt fucking weird and bad, and like I did something wrong, or like I did whatever. And the reality of the situation was not that. It was simply that like somebody else's voice needed to be heard, because this is a situation that directly affects them. And like when you are considering like this intersectionality, sometimes being an ally means elevating the other person's voice with your platform. Yes. And like, I mean, like, obviously, there's all sorts of nuance here. But yeah, like, also, sorry, Josh, because I lit up your text. You know, it's fine.
Rightly so.
Because I've
Rightly
spent,
so.
like, this presentation that I've been preparing for has just, like, it's just put me on some other shit. But,
this is all incredibly positive and beneficial, in my opinion.
No, I think so too. And yeah. I want to just reiterate this. I don't think any of y'all said or did anything wrong. Like, I think you guys did exactly what folks would have asked of you, given, like, this hypothetical. Like, I just, in situations like this, where you're listening to these two fucking big toes with athlete's foot talking about how, like, you know, they're, I mean, am I wrong? No. Talking about women in this way, where they are very clearly insinuating that, like, well, liberal women are ugly. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, well, conservatives are, like, super hot, like my smoking hot wife. And it's like, your smoking hot wife is, like, I'm not even going to put shade on her. I don't know what she looks like. That's fine. But, like, why is this the absolute, like, crux? Like, why is this the standard, right? Damn. And, like, why are we saying that, like, all women should meet this random fucking Christian guy's standard in order to be worthy of something? Like, the number of people on the internet that have been like, oh, I'm not ever going to listen to you because you have pink hair. And to be honest, fine, because, like, that's all I need to know. But, like, it's a Venn diagram of those men and, like, Braxton. Like, it's a Venn diagram. Like, it's a circle.
And Mr. Pritchett makes it worse. Yes.
I don't even know who that is, but he sounds lame.
That's the other guy. That's the other guy on screen.
Yeah.
That's the other guy.
Mean, this guy is talking about how women, like, oh, they probably have blue hair and, like, oh, they need to be. It's like, sir, you have no hair. So shut the fuck up. Like, and I don't personally have a problem with people that are bald, but, like, do not come for my pink hair if you cannot grow 3 fucking sprouts on your head. Shut up. Like, what are we talking about? Sorry, but really.
Gang shit, that's all we on. Gang shit. But you know what?
Am I wrong? Like, what are you doing? Dye your fucking scalp. Watch a movie on it. Fuck off. Like,
if I can give a...
Sorry.
No, you don't need, no need to apologize. If I can give a real life, or at least what I think is a real life example or comparison to what you're talking about, is I do find it very shallow, very hollow for any person, but in this particular conversation, the dude, right? The dude, that it's all about the looks, man. It's all about the looks. It's all about the appearance. In my opinion, you already fucked up. That's my opinion. That's my that's my perspective. And I'm actually now reflecting on a lengthy conversation Jen and I had tonight, and I muted my mic and I asked her,
Hi,
I
Jenna.
said,
Sorry, I was so crazy.
I asked her. I said, can I talk? Can I talk about us? And she gave me the nod. We for those that don't know, Jenna, this may be your first time here on Tang. It is my beautiful, amazing girlfriend.
She is amazing.
And also,
beautiful.
she's amazing in all of the ways. And
y'all dudes can't agree, but I can. So I'm gonna back him up on this.
They can agree.
They can, but they also can't. So
I'm secure.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with you, but yes.
But what makes her beautiful is not just what I see with my eyes. And there was a strategic pause there, gentlemen. It's not just what I see with my eyes. Because that's beautiful and that's amazing.
She do be hot.
That's sexy and that's attractive, right?
Sorry, Jenna, I'm not objectifying you.
But there is the hard stop there. Because it's who she is and what she is as her own individual, her own person, the woman that makes her mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing, right? So when I hear Mystic Pritchett and Braxy and these other hacks that want to pretend that they understand what it's like to have a real relationship and to communicate on a level other than just what my eyes tell me. I'm sorry, I'm not. I can't subscribe to your publications in this regard because it's all just visually based and it all goes back to just the physical element of it. And how dare you, like how dare you? Because we had at least an hour conversation tonight just about communication. We guess what, guys? We went and sat at a bar. We sat at a bar for an hour talking about communication. That's what we did. Badass party time, right? Party time. No, that's what people that love each other do. We sat at a bar. And yes, we had drink, we had dinner, but we talked about communication.
Have these men looked in a mirror? I'm sorry, I just need to know this. Have these fucking dudes looked in a mirror? That's all. I need, like, 100% dead ass. Like, be fucking for real with me right now. Have you looked in a mirror? Because, like, how dare you ever talk about a woman? Not you, three. Those dudes. Like, how dare you talk about a woman and how, like, her looks matter when, like, I fucking know. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt you don't wash your legs in the shower. I know you don't. I'm not wrong. No one could have convinced me I'm wrong. Like, y'all don't spread the cheese and let the water run through. Fuck out of here talking about a woman's and, like, how she looks and how that's valuable. Like, y'all are laughing, but it's true as shit.
No, hey, Heathen Queen, I'm going to say this. Mr. Pritchett, he might, if he gets in an actual shower, he might go through the shower, like, the drain. Like, he's so
He ain't
little.
never heard of wet
He
wipes,
might
that's
go
for
through the
sure.
drain.
No, he would be something I have to, like, pick up out of the drain so it doesn't clog and, like, put it in my trash can.
And Heathen Queen, I muted so Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip can't hear us. Can you tell how uncomfortable we're making them right now?
I love it. I live for this shit.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Let's do more. Let's talk about Josh's butt. Just kidding. I heard that. Sorry.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
Okay, so Dr. Kip, let's talk about your butt.
Josh, can you just
I don't know if I've ever seen that either.
I'm
Okay.
I'm oddly wearing like spandex workout pants tonight. So what a night to do that.
I will say this, nothing to do with Josh or Kip.
Oh my
like nothing at all. Just apropos of, literally nothing. I saw an entire Reddit thread about dudes that thought that wiping their fucking ass was gay because they touched their own assholes. I'm not joking. I'm not fucking... This is being a woman. Like, I'm not joking. Like, is wiping your booty hole gay?
No.
No,
See-
right.
see-
Of course it's
Not
not.
that there's anything wrong with that.
See,
What do you mean anything wrong with that? There's a
No,
lot
s-
wrong
s-
with
is
not
it-
wiping your
s-
booty
no.
hole. There's a
Is
lot
it-
wrong
making-
with it.
Yeah, no,
He
there's a
was
lot
making
wrong
a-
with that.
he was making
yes.
a Seinfeld
Seinfeld.
reference. That
Sorry, I was like...
wait, the more you talk,
Aneurysm.
the more you talk about this, Jess, this sort of stuff, it makes me sound like your analogy about one cyanide M&M in the bowl is that there's
No, it's
one
99
good
cyanides.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
one good M&M.
People
Yikes,
think
eh?
I'm being
Yeah.
dramatic. I'm not. Like, I'm not. And I've completely derailed this conversation from like some kind of Bible thing to like men not washing their ass, and I'm not sorry about
This
it.
is much more important. I mean,
Hygiene is
maybe not
like,
that. Hygiene is important.
I need 75 more beers for this, but like, it's like people, especially men, like my male friends, because I pick and choose who my male friends are very carefully, are like, they disbelieve when I say things like this. When I'm like, oh, this is a concern among women that like men don't wash like A, B, or C area, and they're like, no way. My brothers in Christ, I'm so fucking serious. There was a woman I heard recently who used to be a nurse at a proctologist's office. And all she would do is tell the men to like get undressed, sit on the table, and like take the vitals, right? That's it. She said 9 out of 10 men, 9 out of 10 left skid marks. Do y'all understand the risk we are taking when we... Do y'all understand? Like, do y'all, like,
Hey, y'all some dirty motherfuckers. Wash your asses. Y'all some dirty motherfuckers. It doesn't take a doctorate. It doesn't take a doctorate. You don't even need a...
I can't even see the chat right now. I can't imagine what's happening.
You don't even need a bachelor's degree. Fuck it. You don't even need a GED to understand to wipe your ass, bruh.
It's every day when I take a shower and I wash my legs. I'm not being exaggerative at all. I wash my legs and I think there are people out there that don't realize they need to wash their legs, and I'm horrified. And I'm more horrified that I'm going to end up dating one of them on accident.
Yeah,
Prison.
yeah. I was gonna make a comment there, but that's probably highly inappropriate, just for YouTube, not to do with us, but just YouTube in general. So I'm going to hit the mute button on that one. Mute us, mute us. But Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip, you both look very comfortable with this conversation right now.
Very.
So, are there any questions that you have in regards to sex?
Listen, Josh like knows me very well, so he should not feel uncomfortable with any of this, because like,
but
that's how
I
I've
do.
been. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can, but maybe you can feel uncomfortable. You shouldn't feel surprised. Do you feel surprised?
No,
Yes or no?
no.
Okay, well, that's fine.
No.
Uncomfortable then is like your own gig.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get over the. It's hard to get over the uncomfortable one just because of the nature of it.
Wait, which part? Which part was like very uncomfortable? Be specific.
How about what if I don't though? Be specific. What if I don't do that?
What if you do?
It's. I saw Robin today.
Rockin' Robin? Rockin' Robin?
Josh loves what is that restaurant?
Red Robin?
Red Robin.
Yes.
Red Robin.
I like Red Robin.
This is true.
There's so few left. At
But
least
Josh
burger.
has one close to his house, don't worry.
It's a good burger.
Really?
No.
Wow. Yeah, it is. I agree.
So
Okay.
I don't want to be that person,
But you're going to be.
You will. Yeah.
but I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
So Kip and I did a 3.5 hour stream last night, and
my
we're
God.
coming up on
Who's-
3 now.
Whose fault is
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
It's totally mine. And so I'm saying I'm being that guy. But I do want to, and actually, Jess, I think it's actually, now that you're here, it's probably better that it's all worked out this way, because I think actually you should be here for this. Could we play? I know we're cutting the rest of the other stream out if we do this, but
It's fine.
could
I'm
we
done, I think.
play? Yeah, we probably sufficiently.
I can hear y'all. I'm gonna step out here really quick because
All right.
I need to. But yeah, thanks.
Could we play that clip from the praise stream?
Do you need the
yes.
you need the timestamps? Oz.
I think I have.
It should be 4 hours 14 minutes, I think, is what it was.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
Sorry.
gotta step out too, just for a second.
Only because it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me, and Oliver will be up, I would imagine, in the next 3 hours. Maybe 4, if I'm lucky.
If you gave me NyQuil, it would be longer.
Yes, that's true. We give him this, like, what is it?
Melatonin.
Yeah, it's like the lowest conceivable dose, a little gummy.
Yeah. I take 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol PM and I sleep for 2 hours. Anyway, God hates me. This is how I know that God doesn't exist. That's how I know. Anyway, I wouldn't have to do this if I was a man, but I am gonna do it because I'm a woman. Thank y'all for letting me say all of that, because like it was a lot and I was pissed. But not pissed at the three of you, just like pissed at the state of things, and how exhausting it is to be a woman, let alone to be a queer woman or to be a woman of color or like any of these other more marginalized groups. And I don't claim to speak for them. I can only speak for myself, but I think the space and time and platform was appreciated. So.
Well, thank you for coming on and doing it.
Y'all already an angry woman. Just bang the line. You know what I mean? I'll be there. I'm always mad.
Sorry, give me one. I'm trying to.
Are you still looking for the video? And do you have the timestamp for that one?
Is this what you showed me earlier, Josh?
I can find the
It's so
goddamn
dumb.
fucking.
Yes, it
Sorry. It's what you sent me earlier, right?
The
like clip where like Christian loves something.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Like
because
they don't
he's
even,
dumb, 'cause
they're not
he's
even
dumb.
funny.
Yeah. It's definitely. Yeah.
It's like this sense of humor just like got like sucked out of their a-hole like as soon as they decided they were Christians.
The thing is, I don't think he was kidding.
No, he's not, and that's and I said it earlier, and I'm
Maybe we're thinking of different things. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, shut the fuck up right now, dude. I was talking to my YouTube, not you guys.
I know.
So I found it. Let me get this screen shared, and this is where we will take a 30-second break, because I promised myself this is, and I do this very rarely. This is when I'm breaking out the Hennessy. About to break out the Hennessy.
I'm mad I don't have any. Just
Because when you get at my people like this, yep, this is why at the top I said my opinions are my own and not Dr. Josh or Dr. Kip or anyone's. These are my opinions, because
my opinions are all Dr. Josh's opinions, and I will die on that hill. Thank you so much for coming to my Theodore chat. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to. Well, we'll start there. We'll just start there once we get it going. Let me share the screen. Yeah, because this shit needs to be talked about. Because fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
So many fucks.
Not that one. Almost there. Everybody be patient. Be patient.
Paul Rudd 2.0 is speechless.
Be patient. Get rid of this now and move. See, I'm still getting used to having these dual monitors. I have dual monitors.
Hey, look.
I'm so sorry.
see
Someone
that?
just said, "Who washes their legs?"
Kip, look, they're reviewing it again.
Oh, and I'm about to
What?
as soon as we end this,
Oh my
I'm
God.
live and I'm going to Simon.
Oh, well, let me in there because like I'm
that's praise
angrier than
again.
you could ever
Yeah.
imagine.
Oh wow.
I have thoughts that I've held back.
We're gonna play.
Oh.
We're gonna play.
This YouTube stuff is exhausting, you guys.
It's not for
Bible
me.
Was it the Bible study on work?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Bob-
you're not
Bob, that's
pushing.
it right there.
I'm guessing you're not pushing 50, Jess.
That's true. I will say that.
It is the Bible study on works. Yep.
I have no kids.
And
I'm
it was
not
at
pushing
4
50.
4
um,
hours, 14 minutes. Yep.
And I'm way funnier than these fucking idiots. So,
You're way funnier than everybody.
debatable, but definitely these guys. Like, what is that? Please.
Yeah, that's good. It's like 4:14:22.
Like,
Yeah.
These fucking guys
there's
again.
flair to there. He didn't explicitly
I'm not
say your
convinced.
neighbor's a slave.
So I'm not convinced of that. And the reason I'm not convinced of that is because Hey, did you guys see what a stir Josh and I caused by wearing the same jacket?
Yes, I brought it up multiple times.
Did you? That was well planned, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, are y'all twinning? Is this the Tweedle?
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who was on, the same
I
team.
just wanted to know
now
if it was
noticed it.
pre-planned. That was it. But all I wanted to know was
Well,
if y'all like, got on the phone and were like,
I did
"You
say
want
that I
blue
was going to wear a
blazer?"
jacket, and he said, "Oh well, cool. I'm going to wear a jacket because I don't get a chance to wear them all that often."
I quite literally hopped on at like, I don't know, some late hour, and the first thing I said was like, why are Josh and Kip matching? I don't care about what they're talking about. I already know they're right. Why are they wearing the same fucking jacket? Did they call each other before the show? Like inquiring minds.
If they had the proper manager, they would. Anytime they made like a punch point, right? They both would have did the Justin Bieber hair swing.
So I'm just saying, you can hire me. I'm not that expensive.
I was actually, just speaking of wardrobes, I was frustrated because, and I was like I am right now, I wore a specific shirt underneath of that, and it's my equality shirt, and it's got the LGBTQ rainbow for the U, and it was like right in the center, and like the camera doesn't go that low. And
You have to adjust the camera, Josh.
I-
Learn your
yeah,
angles.
I
baby doll.
No, the problem is just wearing a shirt underneath altogether.
I mean, I've already
Oh gosh.
told you the best plan of action, and I've even gotten you to do it if we're being really real for real. But whatevs. In any event, Correa says that was a very high compliment from Kip Davis, so I'm going to say thank you and put that, wherever I put it in my little treasure chest. Thank you so much.
In this video clip, just you have to listen because what I consider to be the most atrocious thing that was said is said while somebody else is speaking over top. So you have to listen for it, and we can play
You
it.
should probably move ahead about a minute or a minute and a half, though.
Well, no, I'm gonna hit play here because I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna grab my bottle of Hennessy.
I feel like I need a shotgun,
Because-
7 beers for this.
I'm,
But
I'm about to go full out. I'm about to go full out hood. This is when I go full out hood. Right
I
here.
wish I was there, my brother.
So I'll hit play and I'll mute my mic for a minute. But I'm gonna get the
Can I
bottle of
touch?
Hennessy.
Just go.
This
Don't do that.
distinction
Shh, don't.
in the social understanding. The guy on the left is of talking, guys.
Oh,
How people interact
Oh yeah.
and where their
Dr.
role
Kill.
and their function is Very within.
It's like,
Within
I
the
have
cosmos.
a PhD.
We
Y'all.
have a
I mean,
tendency
you have to find out what group they
to
belong to.
read
all
back
these people.
into this ancient Near Eastern
And
culture.
send that to the
ideals
FBI.
about love. Oh, I
Wait,
forgot.
who Who is talking? Oh.
humanity that are
no
not
humanity
necessarily
that
entrenched
there's an
within
agenda.
the cultures which produced the Bible, and I would include the New Testament and
sure,
and
I would
Jesus'
totally agree with that.
instruction about that too. So I guess I have a problem at the outset with expanding.
Why don't you come in, Jay, and why don't you confront Yuri then?
Yeah.
Whoa. Can you
that
imagine sounding like that and
definition
taking yourself
beyond
seriously?
what Jesus says explicitly. And I also have a question about
Kill me.
who decides what the meta narrative is.
They decide. That's
Me,
who decides.
obviously.
Well, in my mind, it's pretty self-evident. Would you come up with a different meta
Of
narrative,
course,
or
in
would
their
you
mind,
say?
they know.
Of course,
who decides.
postmodern would say there are no meta narratives.
Right, here it comes.
We could go that direction.
All right, before this happens, it's getting ready to happen, and they're going to talk some shit. And
In my mind, it's very clear that what I think is correct and right. Like, I'm shocked. I'm shook. Can't believe it.
yeah, absolutely, that's exactly where they're going to go. But I want to, for myself, any of us that wants to interject this, my opinions, the shit that I'm getting ready to talk, because I'm about to pop off. I'll let Dr. Josh and Kip go first, but I'm about to pop off. And anything that I say does not represent Dr. Josh, Dr. Joshua Bowen, or Dr. Kip Davis, or even the Atheist Network Group. This
Everything
is
that I
all
say
individual.
represents myself and Dr. Joshua Aaron Bowen, specifically of Digital Hammurabi. Thank you.
Well, that's between you two. So here we go.
I did not hear any objections. Let's continue.
Here we go.
Obviously, not the people
But,
that get emotional about it.
But would you say that the Bible actually is telling a story? If I could turn the question.
They don't care about the Bible.
Not at all. I would say that you can read it.
He needs the hairs on his
and
chin
that is
cut
certainly
off.
how the individual texts have.
Bitch.
Yeah, that is kind of ugly.
I would grab him by that beard and drag him across the ground
I want to get
and knock all his front teeth out.
Did you hear it?
Dang, Yuri's coming out swinging tonight.
Dude, there's no doubt in my mind. These people, they want to have a race war in America. They want to kill people. There's no doubt in my mind about it. I
Get
know
a
what these
fucking
people are
face
all about.
on
You
gravel
guys just
road,
don't
bitch.
understand it, maybe. But I totally understand what these people are doing. They're not religious. They're not for any kind of race. They could.
So he said, I would grab him by the hair and drag him on the ground and knock all of his front teeth out.
Sounds like a hate crime if we're being really for real, because this has happened before.
And as horrific as something like that is, and this video, I have reported it for violence, as did I know other people. The context in which this was one of the stranger things to me. What Kip was talking about, I mean, he's asking a question
Very
about
banal.
the meta narrative.
Sorry, Kip, no offense, but it's like very mundane, like normal scholarly sort of thought and question. It's not controversial.
And to somehow, yeah, I was disgusted by it.
I mean, honestly, I think he said that because he's trying to get like Kip's hairline to match Dr. Boyce's, and like there's only a certain number of ways that you can do that, and violence is apparently one of them.
Well, let me hit play and let this finish, because it's the finishing part where I go the fuck off.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry, Josh, you took that seriously, and I did not. Yeah.
Could care
I
less
took it to
about
hell.
slavery. all they care about is getting their narrative fulfilled. And their narrative is to come to power at any cost, to take over
Hold on.
the government.
I'm gonna go in.
I want whatever they're
Hey,
smoking.
I mean,
Now let him go.
I mean, I can't really disagree with you when it comes to liberals, but I don't know, like, I don't know if, like,
I don't know why you call them
Yeah.
liberals. They're nothing like liberals. These are the worst type of people in the world, man. This is
Which
pure
are?
evil right there.
Wow.
Marxists!
I guess you see something I don't. I don't know what to say. I think it's hard for me to push back on you in that.
This man sounds like he only breathes
These
out of his
people
mouth.
use other people
Here.
to do their dirty work.
Right here.
Because they're too chicken shit to do it themselves.
No, come
Two
find me,
chicken
bitch.
shit. Two chicken shit.
Yeah,
Hold on.
pull up.
Hold on. Two chicken shit. Motherfucker, say my name.
Right, pull up.
Say my name.
And also, like,
Hey.
you don't even have a profile picture, and y'all are gonna say we're too chicken shit. Pull the fuck up.
And I will press pause for a very brief second.
Sorry.
This is where Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip are amazing with their ability to be charitable,
Yeah,
and to
true.
press pause and listen. And I want to say that and again illustrate that and demonstrate that they're the best at it, because I can't do it. But when you start popping off on this shit, and talking about the chicken shit, motherfucker, like Heathen, roll up, bitch.
Pull up.
Roll up.
Like, if you're gonna talk that shit, pull up, because, like, I'm sincerely about that life. Like, I hope you're a better shot than me.
Yeah, I'm here for all that smoke, bro. I'm here for all that smoke. And yes,
Like, the way that I
will.
grew up was, if you're going to say that shit, you better back it up. Full stop.
Yeah, it's
Because otherwise, like, if I said that shit, I would get my ass fucking beat, unless I was ready to pull up. I don't know a better way to say that. I would have gotten fucking destroyed. And these people feel super comfortable saying all of this fucking bullshit behind an anonymous profile and, like, just whatever. And it's like, yeah, y'all did not, like, we are not the same. We did not grow up the same. Because, like...
Yeah, let's make it clear. Before you get to Dr. Kip or Dr. Josh to knock their teeth out,
Yeah,
you're
no.
gonna have to run through me, bro. You're gonna have to run through me. And
me.
I've been through many conversations, and I still have all my teeth. Let's just say that I still have all my teeth.
And mine are
I
shiny
got all
and
the
white.
pearly whites. I got all the
Yeah,
pearly.
exactly.
But at the end of it, that's why I said, whether it was up top or at the end, that we need to talk about this, because when we're having these conversations, when it delves into personal attacks and personal threats, who are you, and why do you feel the necessity or the unction to physically threaten?
Y'all feel bold.
In this one, to physically threaten Dr. Kip that you're going to do this and knock his teeth out.
I want to say this. I love y'all's cute little faces up top, just there existing, and me and Oz at the bottom, ready to fucking fight. Like, I just, like, I don't know. Something about the juxtaposition is, because, like, I will sincerely give them a gravel facial without a second thought if they come over here. But Josh is gonna, like, try to, like, talk to them and, like, pray for them, even though he doesn't believe in God, and I just love that for you. It's so cute. Mwah. Not me, though.
There's more than one God.
Yeah, I don't know who y'all are praying to. I'm not praying to anybody. They're
I'd
gonna pray to
probably
me.
pray to Anana. That's what I'd be doing.
That's fine.
Yeah. if I
They're
had
gonna
to.
get on their knees for me. That's the beginning and the end. Like,
well, and I'm gonna say this, and then Dr. Josh, Dr. Kip, y'all finish this.
yeah, sorry.
When it comes to this particular video, this particular point, because and more so because Kip, this was directed at you. So I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to shut the fuck up, and y'all wrap this shit up because this was more personal than any of the other shit that we've watched or listened to. And I'll say this: praise that I am that I'm not. Jill and all the others that were involved in that stream, there was a couple mentions of, if these folks were face to face with me, blah 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 blah.
Girl, pull up.
Right. I'm gonna say this, and I'm speaking for Oz, no one else. You can shoot me an email at itstangang@gmail.com.
Yeah, email me. I'll give you my address.
And that's what I was gonna say. I will send you my address, and by all means, show me that you're about that life.
Yeah, please.
Show me that you're about that life, because I don't believe you are. I believe this is all online flexing and talking shit, and this is the best you have to try to, in an attempt to be a defeater of what Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip bring to the table. Is you have to then go so absurd and so childish that it's, well, if they were here, I'd pull his hair out of his beard.
Yeah.
And
Without understanding that, like, some of us actually lived that way.
And I
Like-
did this and this and this and that. We've heard all this shit before. So stop with that shit. If you want to have actual conversations, we
Queen
can.
of the Heathens 1@gmail.com. Email me.
If you want to have actual conversations, we can do that too. But don't go into the absurd where you start making physical threats and doing all that, because you don't know who's standing right behind Dr. Josh.
I'm not even standing behind Dr. Josh. Sorry. Like, I'm standing directly in front of him. Like, Josh is way too fucking nice. I can't speak for Kip. I don't know. Josh is way nicer than I could ever dream of being. And I will quite literally put my knee on someone's throat before y'all get to him or his family. And I mean that literally and whole fucking heartedly.
Hell yeah. So, and I agree. And Dr. Josh and Dr. Kip, now that the gangsters done talk their shit, what y'all got?
Not even that. It's just real. Like,
Kip, why don't I go first so you can have your thoughts to sort of wrap it all up.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you both for saying all of those things. It's hard to express what that means, and I wasn't even the one that was receiving this. And I
did the invoice, so it's fine.
And I realize that my skin is horribly thin, and so things like this bothers me, gives me anxiety, and it wasn't even directed at me.
Just me cackling.
So
it's because you're a sweet person, Josh, and that needs to be protected at all costs.
Well, I appreciate that.
I don't care. I'm just telling you the truth. That's just the truth. There's so few sweet, gentle people in the world that it needs to be protected. That's it.
I really appreciate that.
Stop.
But Kip, I'm sorry that, because it's really shitty. And I saw this, and I sat there stunned, and I shouldn't have been, right? Because again, this is an unsurprising thing. I was happy, if one can say that Praise didn't seem to participate in it, and maybe even at a certain point was trying to not sound combative with the person, but was trying to distance himself from it. Yeah. Maybe that's what was going on. I hope that's what was going on. If so, at least that's good.
Don't be generous. He hosted it.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
That's
also, true. I keep interrupting you, and I want to say sorry, but I'm not. it's interesting to me to hear you say that you were like shocked by it, because when I listened to the whole thing, I rewound and listened to it again and was like, why did you send this to me? Like, not in like a rude way, but I was like, yeah, par for the course, right? Like, I don't know. And that doesn't mean that it should be or whatever, but I only point that out because, like, I want people to understand you and how you view the world. And I can't speak for Kip because I just don't know him that well. But, like, if you sent that to me, I'd be like, cool. Not in, like, it's actually cool, but, like, the way I eviscerate people on the daily is just like, yeah, y'all, you get what you get.
But I think that's
that's why I defend people like you so aggressively. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's and I'll shut up. But like that, I think that's the thing. It's not that, like, had Kip been saying something, I don't know, in any way controversial or volatile.
All they have.
Yeah, it's just he was just.
It's all they have.
Yeah.
It's the same stupid fucking reason, albeit less violent, that people say, like, you have pink hair, I'll never listen to you. Right? Like, it's the same idea, right? Obviously, this was a more violent sort of attack, but it's like the same thing where it's like, here's this characteristic of how you look that has nothing to do with what you're saying that I'm just going to latch onto and be aggressive about so that I don't have to hear, like, the information you're saying. Again, definitely more aggressive, definitely more violent, but, like, not surprising from the crowd that, like, cumulatively has 2 brain cells competing for 3rd place. Like, what else the fuck do they have? Nothing. Come on.
Yeah.
Sorry. I said I was going to shut up. I never do.
Kip, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'll be honest. I think the thing that I'm bothered about more than anything is the comment that I don't care about the Bible. So, like, seriously, I'm not kidding here, okay? Like, how do you do, like, Josh and I think we're pretty close in age. Sorry, I hope I'm not giving too much away, Josh. So,
I'm 43.
Oh.
Damn. Not as close as I thought. So,
as Oliver said, Josh, you are 10 years older than Jessica. Sorry.
Okay, so I mean, I have devoted the better part of my entire life, the entirety of my adult life, to better understanding this text. And at first, out of duty, I think, out of an expectation that this is what I was supposed to do. But over time, out of genuine curiosity and fascination to know it better and to figure it out. And the more and more I read and studied, the more fascinated and the more curious I became and the more questions I had. So it's always incredibly frustrating to me to hear people dismiss my life's work with the galling notion that I don't care. Because most of what I do is care. I care
Most
so
of your
much.
life has been caring about this very
I care
specific
so
topic.
much that, you know, there's no money in this.
Sorry.
Right? It's not.
Me getting
it's
ready
not
for grad
like
school. Yes, there's no money in this.
It's a losing proposition.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
I think that's the first thing, and then I'll just say something else here, and then I think I need to go because I'm almost falling asleep. But when Josh he found it and he shared it with me and I watched it, and I think there were I had two thoughts when I saw it. The first one was that, well, this doesn't make any sense because it has nothing to do with what I was talking about, what the debate was talking about. And at the outset, I think I was encouraged by that because it speaks to, I think, a level of desperation or an inability from the whatever this is on this religious Christian nationalist perspective, that there's so much emotion there that they can't even grasp what we're saying half the time. But then the other part of me watched this and thought, if this is if this is your response, then you must be terrified of me. You must be terrified of what we're doing. Because and that actually is somewhat encouraging, because I think it means that, you know, we're getting through to people. We're reaching people. We're having, you know, our voices are being heard. And I take some I take some encouragement, and I take some solace in that, because I mean, I am not a terrifying guy. So if you're that scared of me and Josh and what we're doing, I have to think we're touching a nerve.
It's the same, and I hate to like say it this way, but it's the same reason I get fucking death threats and rape threats quite regularly. Jeez. Because the shit that I'm saying is striking a nerve with folks, and the only way that they know how to respond is with violence. And it's the exact same thing that's happening, just at like or for a different reason perhaps, or like at a different level, right? So like they're alarmed at your knowledge, whatever, however you want to phrase it, but like, yeah, it's the same.
I was going to say one other thing too is, so praise I am that I am, earlier today after this stream last night, posted a short, and I encourage everybody to go watch it, in which he debunks me.
I'm sure, yeah.
Totally debunked. I'm sure.
It's devastating.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Can I send you like a care package? Like, is there something I can do to help you through this trying time?
It's yeah, I don't know, Jess. So
just let me know.
But it's, and I keep coming back with, is that really the best that you can do?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
It's depressing for them,
yeah,
specifically.
For them.
Yeah. No problem. Yes, that's the best we can do.
If you know, you know. If you know that one.
All right. One last time before we wrap it up. For no one needs to apologize for wrapping up the stream. And
sorry, Oz.
No.
Be praised if you're watching.
I hate it when people.
That's all. Yeah.
Reason. Before we end this, let's have one more drink, because I broke out the Hennessy.
I swear I thought you were going to say, let's have a word of prayer. I don't know why.
I was too. I was right there. I was ready. Let's
have a word of prayer.
I should have got a Kia. You know what I mean?
Sing great.
One time I baptized on my house.
But no, let's have a drink.
Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the
And let us end with a word of prayer. Babe, if you'll pull them back up real quick, I want to do one more thing. Sorry, I was not clear. That's my fault. That's my bad. I was not clear on that. So I want to make sure I say, first of all, thank you, Heathen Queen, for jumping in and offering your perspective on this, because it is very, very important.
Thank you all for just like, I don't know, accepting or whatever. I don't know the right word, but like I came in fucking hot, and justifiably, but also like I know it can be a lot to sort of like absorb when like it first comes in. So thank y'all. Thanks for having me, and thanks for just being present and accepting that.
No, we appreciate it, and you know what, the guys, the dudes that really care, we're gonna sit and listen. And
I will say this, y'all always do. Every experience I've had with the three of you, some more than others, but like every experience I've had, y'all have always been willing to sit and listen, and learn. And even if you don't initially like, even if it's not a learning experience, you allow me to exist and have these feelings and share my experience and do whatever. And like, that is incredibly important and incredibly valuable. So just know that.
I love that. That's amazing. Thank you. That's a huge compliment for all three of us.
Because I do be coming out swinging. Like,
sometimes just 'cause it's like Macho Man Randy Savage off the top. Oh yeah. Just snap it to a Slim Jim. Yeah, brother. Yeah, she
once I get it out, oh my God.
But as always, Dr. Josh, but my homie, anything you want to say to wrap it up, man?
Who's Dr. Josh?
No, just thank you. And sorry, Kip, I know you're drifting probably as much as I am. No, but thank you. Appreciate you going through this.
You two need to stop acting like you debated for 3 hours last night. Stop it.
Apologies.
3.5.
Y'all didn't even debate. You just listened to some theological bullshit. Be real with me. Because I popped in and I was like,
Well,
this is a debate. This is nonsense.
There
Yes, y'all
was
did
a
not
lot
sleep.
of
I get it.
You
talking.
didn't even debate. It was you two click the link and listen to Christians talk for 3 hours.
Yeah,
That's
listen,
what
you
happened.
were definitely there for 3 hours and you said words, but like what the fuck they were saying was just like, yeah.
I told Josh earlier today, I
just
have such a
put the
I have
smoke
such
machine
a-
up my
a
ass and call it good.
frustration and a disdain for theology that I honestly like. I could only go for 2 or 3 sentences, and then I got bored.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was garbage.
I stopped listening.
I watched you. You're we could talk about this when we do a review.
The short version was like, I
Yeah,
popped in and they were like, yeah, slavery is bad, but also like God did some like gradation thing and he's God, so therefore good. And I was like, oh my fucking Lord. Like what? Yeah. So, y'all deserve some kind of prize.
Jesus rules, y'all. Jesus rules.
We got this stream.
Yeah. Not
And
a
it was
prize.
worth it.
I mean, it was before I got here.
Stop it. But no, thank you for you guys. And I did ask Jenna to create a solo screen for me here because I'm gonna go off, and I don't want anybody to be implicated on what I'm getting ready to say. So if y'all want to tune in and listen to the rest, you can. But if not, Dr. Josh, Dr. Kip, Heathen Queen, love y'all. But I'm getting ready to go off. I love you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Oz.
Love y'all. Uh-oh. I feel like I feel like feel like there's a lot that needs to be said. And the first point being, you fucking Christians that continue to try to wiggle your way around and dance your way and parade your way and massage your way around slavery. Just stop it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Look at what this book is making you do. This book is making you be something that you probably most likely wouldn't be if it wasn't for the book. If it wasn't for the book, you probably would not defend slavery. If it wasn't for the book, you probably would not defend the ownership of another human. Stop it. Furthermore, ask yourself, why do I feel the need to defend this? That was one of the shifters for me. Was why am I obsessed with why do I feel the need to defend such atrocities? Why if this God is omni everything, why am I the one that has to defend these things? Why is God not here? Why is this God not here defending these things? Why am I the motherfucker? Why am I the one left here to defend this and argue for this? Where's this God? Why is he not present? Why is he not active? Maybe he's not real. Maybe he's not there. And that part of the conversation on slavery and all of the other things that are incorporated in that conversation. And I'll just say, if your God is omni everything, there is absolutely zero reason, no good reason that we're continuing to have this conversation in 2023. None. Zero. None. And the reason that you and your God can't figure it out is, oh, your book says it. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's the same. He is the same racist, bigoted, partial, whatever word, whatever other adjective or descriptive word that you want to throw. He's still that motherfucker. He's still that. Now, shifting gears before I end this part, and I've already received a couple private messages on my phone. I've been watching people. Oh, you gonna open it up? You gonna open it up? You gonna open it up? You want to do it? If there's theists that want to come in here and argue this shit, fuck yeah, I'll open it up. Holla at your boy. But before I do that, I want to talk very, very specifically, directly about Dr. Josh and about Dr. Kip. For those with all your little, like, oh, I would grab him by the beard. I would drag him down the road. I'd punch the teeth out of his mouth. I would... Bitch, please. You can email me. It's tangang@gmail.com. I'll give you the Addy. I will provide an address for you. Roll up, pull up. Roll up and pull up. Don't get behind a camera and behind a keyboard and be that person. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't do that. I don't come on here like threatening physical harm or threatening to assault people. I don't do that. I've never done that. But if you're going to call out people like Josh and Kip and threaten their physical safety, yeah, I am that dude to jump up and jump out and say, meet me, bruh. Holla at your boy. Again, it's tangang@gmail.com. I'll shoot. You're not going to get my home address, but I'll shoot you an Addy. I'll like, meet me. Meet me. Because that's the thing. Y'all motherfuckers get behind this keyboard and get behind this camera, and you don't even get behind the camera. Like, praise I am, that I'm not. And you hide behind these little avatars. Here's my face right here. Right? Holla at your boy. Like, put your shit on the camera, little bitches. You talk all this shit about Josh and Kip and myself and Jessica and Jenna and whomever. We put our faces out there, but y'all hide behind your little avatars. Bitch. Roll up. And the end of my sermon today, Assalam my bacon. I love my bacon. Is Christianity is bullshit.
Are you ready for some damage?
The wait is over. Your number one DJ worldwide. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sitting on my throne, sitting on my throne, sitting on my throne. You ain't real, you just fake, you a fraud. How you running me when you can't even walk? All the people know you lying when you talk. Talking shit and I'ma send you up to God. How you running me when you can't even walk? All the people know you lying when you talk. Talking shit and I'ma send you up to God. How you running me when you can't even walk? All the people know you lying when you talk. Talking shit and I'ma send you up to God.